How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Pangeekery Podcast, a live weekly video podcast celebrating all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. We're going to be talking about TV, film, comic books, video games, covering all the nooks and crannies of fandom. My name is Earl. I am an actor improviser, and my first con ever was the Shrine Sci-Fi Cons by USC back in like 1998 or something like that.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Zhang. Welcome to Pangeekery. I'm an actor, writer, immersive theater artist, and enthusiast. And my first con was Anime Expo. I dressed as Morrigan from Dragon Age Origins at Anime Expo 2013.
Hey y'all, my name is Caitlin Faye. I'm an actor, singer, director, and writer, and my first con was D23 in 2013. Oh, I did not dress up.
Boring.
I know.
And I just want to really quick intro our special guest for today, our special guest host for today, Arnold Basinga.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Doing all right.
My name is Arnold. I'm an entertainer. I'm also a stage manager extraordinaire. My first con was San Diego Comic-Con, like 2011, I think. Yeah. And but I didn't go inside. I was just like
Lobby
hanging
conning.
out. Yeah, hanging out.
Nice.
Because you're not a real nerd.
I'm not a real nerd. Yeah, as you will find out in this episode of Balls Deeper.
so early in the evening.
Balls deepery. Before we move on, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Jimmy John's. Yay! Woo. Freaky Fast makes it freaky fresh. Check out their $10 box lunch and go into the Koreatown location, mention Pangeekery, and get a discount. Also, shout out to PWC, Filipino Worker Center, for being our location sponsors. So we have all this con talk. We're talking about our first cons, and this all leads back to us being at SDCC this past week. Me and Caitlin, we both had panels that we sat on.
We did.
Just want to give a quick shout out to all the people that made that happen.
Yeah.
Geek Say What Network for me, Geek Say What, and shout out to the other people on the panel, TFAL, Diverse Geeks in Focus. Caitlin.
I'm shouting out to Neil Halford and his wife. I believe her name is Jana. I think. I'm sorry. You just added me on Facebook today. But Neil Halford, really, and the rest of the other panelists on the Heroes at the Mic panel, including Aaron Navis, because he sat next to me and you're cool. And I was also on your Hall H show.
Nice. So this week we are going to be talking about a lot of stuff that happened at SDCC, including what we did there personally, parties or lack thereof. I don't know, all that stuff, nice. Panels. Then we're going to be talking about Stranger Things Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8. And finally, we're going to talk about all the news that came out of SDCC, including all the trailers, the Marvel stuff, Picard, lots of different things. So we got a lot to move through. Let's get on with it. JD Lint324 says, "Cool shirt, Arnold. Hi-Fi Kitchen."
Yeah, Hi-Fi Kitchen.
And I also work at Hi-Fi Kitchen in historic Philippines.
What's up to Aaron Nabis? Ola, it was great to finally meet the rest of the Pangeekery hosts at SDCC.
Aaron!
Hey, good to meet you in person.
Hi.
So before we move on, I would like to give a shout out to our sponsors, Jimmy John's. Freaky Fast makes it freaky fresh. Shout out to their $10 box lunch. And again, if you go into the Koreatown location, which is on Wilshire and Vermont, the main cross streets, mention Pangeekery and you will get a discount. Also, thank you to PWC, Filipino Worker Center, for being our location sponsors. Y'all are sweet. You're swell. You're awesome.
Sweet and swell.
Golly.
And swole.
And swole.
Swoke.
Swark coffee. Shout out to everybody in the in chat right now. Do continue to drop us some comments and questions, and we'll get to you as quick as we can. So we're going to be talking about a lot today. Lots of stuff has happened in the past week just because of San Diego Comic-Con, SDCC. So we're going to be recapping all the stuff that we experienced there personally, as well as announcements from Marvel and all that good stuff. We're going to talk about Stranger Things, Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8, the last two of Season 3. Then we're going to cover some trailers that we saw from SDCC, and that's going to be it for our episode today. So, how's everybody feeling?
Feeling all right.
Cool.
Yeah,
Feeling.
it feels
feelings.
weird sitting
Feeling.
here.
Yeah, it doesn't feel weird
Yeah,
sitting
it
there.
is.
You've sat there before, haven't you?
Well, yeah, to like check the mic for Walter.
Wait,
or
you've
something.
never been our host on
No, he's never
Pangeekery?
been.
No.
Oh
But
my
you were on
gosh.
Voices,
Oh yeah, I was.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're an old veteran.
Well, I don't know. No, this is weird. Oh, this is weird because you guys are geeky as shit. Like you guys, these motherfuckers go in.
Yeah.
I'm like surface geek, you know. Like I've been a co-host on other geek shows, but it's just like I felt like I was just playing one on TV. But yeah.
Oh.
So this
She's starstruck.
this episode is gonna be a little. Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy asking you guys a lot of questions.
That's
because-
cool.
Arnold,
Yeah.
prepare.
I gotta learn.
Be
I'm trying to
prepared to
learn.
go deep.
Yeah.
Is all I'm
You're
saying.
gonna go as balls
You're
deep
gonna go.
as we are.
Oh, she
I
said
wasn't
it.
wondering when that was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
go
Balls
balls deep.
Nose diving
Has it been
upwards.
5
Helms
minutes yet?
deep.
All right.
Helms
Diving
deep.
Helms
upwards.
deep.
Helms deep.
Go balls deep and Helms deep.
Battle at the horse.
What's going to be the
Do you get
hashtag
that?
for this? Yes, I get that.
Do you get that reference, Arnold?
That's Harry Potter, right?
Oh,
Wingardium Leviosa.
Leviosa.
All right, guys, come on.
Yeah,
Okay.
something,
Okay,
something.
sorry.
Okay.
Gosh.
All right. So SDCC, San Diego Comic Con. How was it for y'all?
I don't know. I just wanted
Let's-
to make that smacking sound with
Let's
my lips.
start. Okay, let's start with you, Earl.
Okay.
Since you've done this before,
Right,
You've
right,
done
right.
you've done the Comic Con, the San Diego Comic Con thing. before.
Totally.
I walk into set and you're slumped in the chair in the corner. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Dude.
And you're like, Comic Con, man.
Comic-Con, dude.
So obviously,
Good trip.
so obviously a lot happened. You're tired from that.
Well, that's the thing. Comic Con is kind of like it's a weird mix of being a vacation, but it's also like a little bit of work, but and a little bit of it's a giant reunion for me. It's gotten to the point where I don't go to cons anymore for announcements or going to activations and stuff. It's all for me to catch up with everybody that I haven't seen.
So it's not fun anymore.
No, it's absolutely fun, but it's just a relatively convenient way for everybody to be in one place because it
Right.
just makes everybody gather into one into this chaotic big giant mess of humanity. But there's still a chance you might run into people.
Have you ever gotten other gigs from just hanging out at Comic Con?
I don't know if I've gotten gigs from hanging out at Comic Con, but I kind of have.
Like
It's
you
just-
meet people, and,
Right. You meet people,
That's what
and
I
then
meant,
it turns into something else. I mean, that's happened several times before, but I mean, it's always a kind of cool thing. So this past Comic Con, a lot of it was running to people I haven't seen in a while, and I mean, I had a panel, so did Caitlin, so I got to do that, and it's the first time I had a panel that wasn't. I wasn't there to promote Tomb Raider, so it was our panel was called Filipino Voices in Podcasting, Filipinx Voices in Podcasting. So it was cool to be able to sit on a panel with other people and talk about something that was a little more personal to me, I guess. So, but I don't know, what was your experience? Oh, your first panel.
First timer.
Popping that cherry, that cotton cherry. Me and Jen went together. Jen drove, bless her soul, as we blasted weird
Weird music.
really weird dance music from the early 90s
Yeah, one of
to stay
which-
awake.
One
like
of which
what?
was
like people are still having
People
sex
are
by, I
still
think they call it
having
Latour.
sex.
Do
Dun,
you know what
dun,
I'm talking
dun,
about?
dun, dun, dun.
He goes, people are still having sex. Dun, dun,
It's like
dun,
that
dun.
song.
Yeah, it was
Anyone?
in I, Tonya.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway,
I don't know.
Tonya Harding, she danced to it at the 1992
Okay,
Olympics.
okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Got it.
People are
So
still
we were
having
listening
sex.
to that
Yeah. Well, because we drove really late on the night of Thursday
to avoid traffic.
traffic, and then we got there at
And
like
we brought
2
all
a.m.
these gifts to my cousin's house and
like cheesecake,
cherries,
cherries,
plants,
empanadas,
bamboo. Yeah.
You
With
just
a
picked it
piano.
up on the way there, or what?
It's sort of.
Okay.
So we
It was
we
very
did that.
Asian.
Jen, what do you think? I feel like there were not as many people in costume as we expected.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a lot more people in cosplay. I felt a little weird. I was like, oh my God,
No.
there's so
I'm
many
the only
normal
one.
people
Like,
around here.
Jen kept commenting on the fact that like no one else is dressed. We were on the trolley and she looked all shitty because of her like she was like Laura Croft with
Wow.
like bruises and
right.
dirt all
The
over.
dirt.
No. Like Laura Croft with bruises
I
and
looked all
dirt all
shitty,
over her and
thanks.
blood.
She was-
No.
But you were supposed to
shitty.
look-
She's
Yeah,
supposed to
you
look
got it, got
shitty.
it.
Yeah.
Purposefully shitty.
Yeah.
God, I
There
mean,
you
I
go.
was even called out on the subway, by
subway.
a homeless man that was like, "What happened to you?
Yeah.
You look like
He had like
you look
one
like-
eye too.
you look like
Holy
you like what
Like
did
you
he
took a
say?
beating
like you
or
took
something.
crash landing. That's
Yeah,
what he said.
yeah.
You had a crash landing. And then a guy walks in with an actual bruise on his face. He's like, oh my God.
You too?
You too.
High five.
You guys both look like you've had crash landings.
You should have been in
like-
character and be like, well, yeah, I did crash into the island of Yamatai and was,
Yeah.
know.
That's right.
Shit.
Discovered that the-
Jonah.
Yeah.
Jonah?
Anyways, so so not nearly as many people dressed up as we thought they would, and since the actual con space is bigger than say Anime Expo, it wasn't as packed as we were expecting
Right.
it to be. Although there were more people on Saturday, as you predicted there would be, Earl.
Right.
And I was on the Heroes at the Mic panel, which was interesting. And Earl, we got to watch Earl at the Philippine X Voices in podcasting, which was
right
really
after
informative and
yours,
exciting.
right?
Yes.
At the same
Really
venue.
awesome. Yeah. And we ran into Leo Partible. Shout out.
yo,
What
what's
up,
up?
Leo?
Leo led us all the way into the Marriott, into right up to the Nintendo booth, and they told us that they were closed for
Yeah.
now.
Oh my
so
gosh.
That was
But he
fun.
walked us all the way out
Yeah.
of the convention.
Leo knows
and
people.
all the way
He
to
does.
the Marriott.
He does.
I
Yeah.
tried to get
It was
into
very nice of him.
the Nintendo booth on Sunday, and they capped the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was super busy. It was much more busy. Than
Oh,
I
speaking of
expected.
capping the line.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you tell them.
Oh my God. Okay. So I started to tell this earlier when we
Right.
weren't recording, but now that we are, I'm going to tell you. So, like, you know how, well, we didn't get into Hall H clearly because, like,
Obviously
you have to
not.
wait overnight to get into Hall H for Game of Thrones and
Right.
whatnot. But there was another Game of Thrones panel called, like, I think, like,
It's like
after
Game
the
of Thrones, like a reflection
a
or something
reflection
like that. Yeah.
on past and present and future, whatever. So, like, we were trying to go to that because, like, if we missed Hall H, maybe we'll try to see if this happens. So it was located off-site, which I think Earl was bringing up earlier. You know, you had a better chance of getting into. And then we went up right as it was like 10 minutes before it was starting, and like people were telling us, you actually need a standby pass to even stand in the standby line. And that standby pass was only given to you if you were like waiting in line for the pass
Like at
at
6 in the
7:30
morning.
that
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
didn't do that.
There was no, we should not have gotten in.
We should
at
not
all.
have gotten in.
Yeah.
We waited in the line just because I was begging with Caitlin, like, please, let's just stay and see what
right.
happens.
Yeah.
By chance, yeah.
And by
Yeah,
chance,
you were about to leave. Like,
we were
I
about
was
to
gonna leave, but Jen was like, "We'll just stay. We'll just
you got that feeling.
Yeah.
But then, like, these women just came up to us and were like, "We're gonna go. Do you want these?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "Yeah."
We were like one of the last people accepted.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It was standby 38, and then they counted like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, stop. And they cut me off like right as I was going in, and they cut right before Caitlin, and I was like, no!
Yeah, but
It was
Jen
like
goes
the
in anyway.
Titanic music.
I was like, wow, you're gonna be like that. She went in
Oh, she
anyway.
left you.
Yeah,
Holy shit,
without me. I was like, yes,
That is funny as fuck.
Goodbye, my love.
yeah, no, but she was like,
That's what you get for saying that she looks shitty.
oh my
Anyway.
god.
But yeah,
But I
so-
got in eventually.
No,
yeah.
she got in.
Oh,
She
okay,
got
got
in
it. Oh, okay.
because as soon
But
as I
what if
stepped
I
in,
didn't?
it was like.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jack, I'll never forget you.
Rose.
But
Yeah.
I'll let go of you anyway. As you're
Move.
drowning.
There's enough room for us both on this door.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I go inside and there's still a couple of seats left. So I'm like, oh yeah, she's getting in. She's getting in. So then we got seated separately, but it turned out to be great. There was one actor from the show on the panel.
You say it was great now. You told me you were completely underwhelmed. I thought it was
Oh,
great.
Really?
Yeah. You're
Which-
changing your
who's-
tune.
No, it's great that we got in.
Oh, okay. I
great
thought
that
you
we
said
got
you
in.
didn't really like the panel.
What was the panel
panels-
about?
About Game of
Yeah.
Thrones? There was a cast member. Remember in season 4, there was this Then who was
Yeah.
kind of a badass. So he was there.
The scary
The one
looking
that
guy.
got killed by the White Walker.
Yeah, I think he died at the Battle of Winter. At the Battle of
Hardhome.
No, I think he got killed at the Battle of Castle Black. This is season 4.
Oh,
He was the
season
guy
4,
who raids
yeah.
Ollie's village,
Right.
and he like
Killed-
eats human
yeah.
flesh.
Right.
Yeah, he's
So,
actually a
okay.
really charismatic, good-looking guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was
Crazy
there.
looking.
Yeah,
He looks like, I don't know, he looks like Dr. Manhattan or something.
Yeah.
The albino looking dude?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
bald
yeah, that
dude?
kind of
yeah,
guy.
the bald
Okay,
guy.
yeah.
Really
Yeah, so he was there,
I don't know.
and
Same things.
they were just talking
They were
about
just talking. You know?
thoughts regarding Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That's all.
I just honestly think we go deeper on this show than like
How
they do
deep?
on panels.
How deep?
Balls deep.
Okay,
Okay.
good
Helms
girl.
deep. Yeah. Yeah. If your
Balls.
balls aren't deep in it,
How
then
deep, baby? Yeah.
How
Anyways,
deep
Was there
Can you
anything
go?
else that... Just trying to move it along.
Is there anything else we should go balls deep into?
That's just the stage manager in me. Okay.
Do you have any other recommendations for things we can go balls deep into?
I know.
Was there anything else that didn't meet your
How deep is
expectations?
your love?
Wait, what?
Anything else that didn't meet your expectations? Besides that? Sorry, continue.
We just need to have. That's gonna be our catchphrase from now on. Like we're gonna get a T-shirt
Sorry,
that
guys.
just says
Okay.
Pangeekery, balls deep,
Okay,
balls
okay.
deep into geek.
Oh,
into
balls
geekery.
deep into geek. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
It's gonna
great.
happen, right?
is
Rodney,
that?
what's
What
up?
were you
No, it
asking?
should be balls deepery. That's the new name of this fucking podcast.
Balls deepery.
Balls deepery.
I'm just gonna type that into
Fuck
chat. So
It's gonna happen.
hashtag
I'm putting that.
balls deepery.
Thanks for joining the podcast, everybody.
Dragon glass dildo.
Dragon glass dildos.
Oh my god.
Anyway, what else happened at
What
Con?
happened?
I think we're onto something.
What are we
guys.
talking about?
Well,
Sorry.
I mean,
Oh yeah. Shit.
What else happened?
yeah,
at
yeah,
Con?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, what else was underwhelming?
Yeah. Jen, you were talking about.
Did you sit? Did you sit in any other panels or see any other panels? Or sorry. Heroes
Yeah,
in the Mind.
sure.
What happened there?
Oh, what
Oh,
happened?
your panel?
Well, I spoke very well of you, Rodney. I the whole time, Jen and Earl can attest to this. I was basically like, I have it easy. You know, I show up on a Tuesday, I say some words, and we get drunk and do karaoke afterwards.
What are you talking about?
Well, I tried to
never
tell
happens.
them, you know, a lot of the individual challenges that the other panelists were talking about were consistency, you know, outreach, gathering content, filming itself. And I realized that I had it easy. Like I didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. I just had to watch the shows, watch the movies, watch the trailers,
Right.
do some
That's hard
talking
for
into
some
my.
people.
I know, right? No, but yeah. So I was saying this is a testament to the power of the crew, our stage manager, our crew members, our cast
You're
as
welcome.
co-producers, our main producer Rodney, all the effort that he puts in. I told them maybe it's probably difficult for him. He probably has a lot of challenges, but he takes it all in stride. And Rodney's not listening anymore. I'm complimenting him. Okay. You're welcome, Rodney.
He'll rewatch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Right?
No, definitely.
I
No, it's
go ahead.
I'm always marveled at like where we've come in such a short period of time,
Agreed.
and just the amount of people that we have that are so supportive, just even just in this room, and it's so awesome. And I mean, think about it. It's like some people have to wait a long time to get onto a panel at
Right.
San Diego
Right.
Comic-Con, and then this year. You guys got two of you guys got on the panels,
Shit, that's
and
crazy.
so
Didn't
it's
even
just
hear the
Your
first
first
be on
Comic-Con
them.
too. That's
it's
insane.
a great testament to just
We're doing something right?
everything. We're on the right
Absolutely.
track. We're on the track.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So that was that.
Was there a question and answer? Did you get asked any interesting
sorta.
questions or anything?
Yeah, I had to step out for the Q&A because
I
we were
don't-
like prepping for ours. But
Oh, I don't. They were trying to ask me like what moment sticks out in your mind from these past few months as a
Right.
podcast, and I was talking about WonderCon. Did
oh,
you hear
yeah,
that
yeah,
part?
Yeah, I got that.
Like on the way to WonderCon,
Oh,
we
when
just
you got-
started talking about random shit like incels and social justice
That's
issues.
right.
And just that whole day was really fun, so I brought that up. Were you there? You were there, right?
I was not.
You weren't there at
No.
WonderCon?
he wasn't in the because
He
I was
wasn't
in the car.
It was when I was
Oh,
driving.
no,
the
but you were
car.
there at WonderCon.
No, I wasn't.
You weren't at WonderCon.
I wasn't at WonderCon.
He wasn't at
WonderCon.
Was it
WonderCon.
Wonder? No, I
Wander
wasn't.
Vision.
Oh, you weren't
No.
there? That's why it was fun.
Oh, damn.
JK.
Yeah,
I am sitting in Walter's seat. So that makes
JK.
Wow,
Yes,
wow.
you got the burn.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell them about you getting losing
Yeah.
your car. Or
Oh,
I
I
mean,
should've.
getting
That
lost
was a
and
good-
stuff.
Well, that's a
That was a
story
good
that you
memory.
told in a previous episode.
Right,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No, I
go
thought
back and watch that,
Yeah.
guys, and other previous episodes.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Anyways, go ahead.
So Comic Con.
Yeah.
Did you have? Was there a good response to the panel in general?
I think
afterwards?
so. There weren't as many people in the audience as there were at your panel.
We did a lot of pub for our.
Oh, you
ours.
did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Earl, why don't you talk about your panel? What was your experience regarding being on Filipinx Voices?
It was cool. I mean, these are people that I've appeared on all of their podcasts before.
All of theirs?
Yeah. And well, except for Justin Keys on.
Yeah.
But I'm like a constant collaborator with Justin.
Yeah.
He's one of my writing partners, so like I write with him all
Yeah.
the time, and we have a good rapport. So it's if you have both of us on stage, we're gonna like bounce stuff off of each other. We're comfortable like that. But it was cool to actually sit there and be on a panel with everybody at one time because I had worked with them before, and it's something that I'm passionate about, talking about representation in media. So it's something that I can talk about relatively easy, and to be able to do that in front of a group of people is great. And we have a pretty good response. A lot of people came up afterwards, added us on Twitter, and said that thank you for this panel. I had questions about like where to go and how to collaborate before, but after this, everybody felt, the people that I talked to felt emboldened, and so I think it was successful, and hopefully they'll ask us back next year for something similar.
Yeah.
So
Y'all
we'll
sounded
see.
so smart.
I know, and you were like
Articulate.
having fun.
Yeah,
It was
but
like full of jokes.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was a lively vibe.
Right. All those people are very experienced in doing podcasts, and like amongst the panel, there's got to be over a decade worth of like experience. So
Oh, okay.
it's we're used to that kind of format,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And we're all big talkers. So
Well, congrats.
thanks
So
for
proud of
being
you guys.
there.
Yeah.
That's dope.
It was fun.
Shit.
Yeah.
Did you because I know we didn't get to meet up afterwards, like really. But
Well, whose
fault is that? Earl?
Mr. Busy
We
Guy
tried
over
to
here.
Someone
hit
needs
Earl.
to check his text messages.
So many
Sorry.
times.
Yeah.
All right, so I have two excuses here.
Oh,
One,
two.
he was
excuses.
just drowning in bitches.
He planned this out.
Like they're
He planned out his apology. Let's hear it, Earl.
Well,
Yes.
my phone,
Stories.
my phone,
Now.
like my internet went awry for that
Oh,
first.
really?
So that's why I had to text you from my other number.
Excuse number
Oh.
one.
You know what? That's because your other bitch, your side hoe, thoughts were on your digits already. So he's texting me from his trap phone. I'm like, this bitch.
Wow.
Texting me from his trap phone.
I was
So
like,
ghetto.
She's gonna be like, "Who is this?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
he texted me from a secret phone. He's like, "Hey, this is Earl. It's my secret phone." I was like, "Why? Like,
Why do you
do you need a secret phone?"
Well, I have a secret phone number, so everything I like.
Oh,
all
this
numbers
is true.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
no, he was
Okay.
texting me from a secret number.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I give everybody out my Google number.
Okay, got it.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
number
yeah. Well, that's
everybody
smart.
contacts
Yeah,
at
yeah,
me,
yeah.
and then I have a
Okay.
carrier number that I don't give out to anyone. And
Because
just because I just
you're selling drugs.
no. Yes, no, but like if I change my phone or my carrier, my Google number is going to stay constant. So that's why I give that out to everybody, and then I don't give out
The Jonah groupies.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes. No.
Jo-
He's protecting himself
Yeah.
from the Jonah groupies.
Yeah, no, just,
So,
I want to keep my phone number.
so someone
consistent,
didn't want to
so.
join us for dinner at the Marriott Hotel.
I totally
Yeah.
Even
wanted
though
to.
that was the second day in a row we invited him, and he still
That's
didn't show
correct.
I
up.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I totally wanted to. I was sitting in a screening, and then
clearly.
y'all had already finished eating your mini pizzas, and I was like, oh, okay. So I went
Yeah.
to. I had what did I have? I had
You don't have to lie, Earl.
It's okay.
We don't need details.
We all know you didn't.
we know
have
what you were
dinner.
doing
okay.
or who.
We're kidding. We have no
Y'all are
idea.
tripping me up.
Speaking
Oh,
of
just-
Jonah's ladies, Jen, you cosplayed as Lara.
As
Croft.
Lara Croft.
Yeah,
That's right.
she did.
I did. Yeah, I
how
actually
was-
bumped into. Sorry,
Sorry, go ahead.
I bumped into another Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider 3, from like the original Tomb Raider
wow.
3 game. So she had like the blue tank on and then the two strap.
But
type
she looked
thing.
too sexy. Like, would Lara Croft really be like fighting baddies
in the
that?
old games. Yes.
Yes, but
Jen,
but
though?
realistically, she'd look more like you would. Or
I
like
think
you
so.
did. Yeah.
But even then, though, in Yamatai, like she's just wearing like a tank and pants. I think she would have worn a little bit more. Like in Rise of the Tomb Raider, it makes more sense because she has the parka and she has the
Right.
because it's like raging sleet kind of weather. But Yamatai, I mean, it's like really, really tropical climate
It
for
is.
to be
But
wearing
midriff,
just that.
That was like,
booty
it's-
shorts.
That got she was caught off guard because like they
True.
shipwrecked.
Yeah,
then,
that's
like,
right, that's right.
She was like basically in her lounge clothes as
That's
she was
right.
listening to like music
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
I know everything.
I really like the first game. He knows background
Yeah,
information.
I know.
Anyway, so yeah, that was really cool. Randomly running into a Lara. My first day there, I feel like, was a cosplaying success. For some reason, when I wore Siri, not many people came up to me. It was
That's so
mostly
weird.
about
Were you
Lara.
offended, Jen?
I was surprised because there was a
People
Witcher
were
panel.
dropping at my feet.
Did you hang out at the Witcher panel? You should just hung out at the Witcher panel.
No, but I was Lara during the
Oh,
Witcher
okay,
panel
okay,
day.
okay.
You know, so yeah. I
You had a
guess.
fair number of people stopping you.
For Siri. Oh,
Yeah.
I
At
think
WonderCon?
No,
No,
at
at Comic-Con.
Comic-Con.
Oh,
on
so
the
you did.
she did both.
Second day
Yeah.
for Siri, right?
Not that you saw it, but
yeah, we didn't see much of you.
It was
yeah. What were you
super
dressed
busy
up
that
as?
second day. I was dressed as Earl Balon.
Billy Bob.
Billy
Billy
Bob.
Bob.
you two should have. I don't know. You guys should have like walked around and like trolled people.
Yeah.
Threw on the voice real quick. You don't have to like cosplay as
I
Jonah, but
know.
like just throw on the voice.
Put
Like,
him on a
Yeah.
loudspeaker. You know what I
Seriously.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I was
Like,
annoyed
super
at how
fans
many
will know.
guys stopped her and was like, Laura Croft. I was like, I don't even play this fucking game.
Who's
And
Laura
I know it's
Croft?
Lara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a very important distinction.
Yes.
It is, yeah.
That second day, though, I did get a chance. Not the second day. Was that Saturday?
That's the
Saturday.
third day.
Third day. Saturday, I did get a chance to sit in on a live stream with Shack News, HyperX. And,
Oh, I saw pictures.
Yeah, it's a
what
mixer.
was that all about?
Well, I didn't know, but they were doing a marathon for Extra Life for Con to benefit St. Jude's Research Hospital. So they were doing that, and they invited me to sit down for a 15-minute segment and just kind of talk about Tomb Raider and like my experiences voice acting, and we talked about a little bit about D&D. So yeah, shout out to Prima Games, Mixer, HyperX, Shack News. Thank you for having me. We did a little bit of a interview afterwards on the HyperX gaming throne. If you've seen that, it's a gaming throne that it's made to look like the Iron Throne, except it's HyperX keyboards.
Oh, that's cool.
So whenever that drops, I'll be tweeting that out. But shout out to you. I also dropped name dropped Pangeekery and Geek Say What. So
as you
hopefully,
should.
yeah.
Pangeekery say what?
Pangeekery Say What?
Balls
Yeah.
deepery.
Balls deepery.
Sorry.
Balls
Throw
deeper.
that in
can't
there.
use
That's gonna be our alternate name.
I can't.
Pangeekery. Semicolon. Balls deeper.
God help me.
Right.
Going back to was there? Did you see any other like cosplayers who you thought were like?
Oh my
amazing?
God. The
Super
first
amazing?
day. The first day we saw so many Khaleesi's, like first off,
There's a
so
lot
many
of them.
Of
Daenerys's.
course, right.
But one in particular stood out, and she made a completely like original artistic rendition of like the winter whites that Khaleesi wore,
Right.
but they were red.
Like a scarlet red.
Scarlet red,
Yeah.
and they had the sequined dragon like embroidery in the front.
Interesting.
In the same way that, like, you know, the
So it looked like
Lannisters.
scales?
No,
No.
like, you know how like in Cersei's like queen gown, there's like a lion's head
Right.
in sequins.
Okay, got it.
She did that, but with a dragon's head in
Yeah.
the front of the dress. So she put a lot of detail.
She had
into
the
it.
actual ring that Khaleesi drops in the middle of the
Oh, right.
Dothraki Sea. She turned it into a necklace.
Nice.
So it was hanging
Yeah.
on her neck. And she had the same hair.
Yeah.
Same hair as like season 7 Daenerys.
She
Oh,
got
wow.
the
Yeah.
whole look down. She even looked like her.
Here, even her body
Little
looked like
trolley
hers.
Yeah.
Like
She's shorter and kind of petite.
something like that. It was just the way that she had cut the dress. It
Oh,
just
got
looked
it.
like Amelia Clark's body. I don't know. I was like, ugh. anyways,
tell me more.
I know. So her
sorry.
measurements
You know
were
it.
Oh my God.
And then?
Oh,
32
no.
deep. I'm just kidding. No, the
is
second day
terrible.
for us, I think my favorite cosplayers were those Zelda people I had you take a photo with.
Oh, yeah.
Like
they're so
there was
great.
someone dressed as Link, as Zelda, and Malin. And I don't know how much they spent on their outfits,
Dude,
but
their
they looked
outfits-
legit
Amazing.
amazing.
Like
Yeah.
they were a group. They were all
Yes,
together.
Yeah.
and then there were those Transformers on the street.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Is
Did
that
you
the picture
see
you
those
sent?
photos?
Giant
Yeah,
mecha
they're like
guys.
huge freaking mechas.
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are
They're
dope.
really great. And then Leo Partible was the one who was taking pictures of us, and he just kept taking those pictures. And the guy in the Optimus like suit was like, "How many pictures is he taking?"
Because Leo he said he's used to being around like all these influencers. They're
Yeah.
paparazzi. Their photographers take like a million photos.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
So
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, I'll do the same.
Well, he took like
He was your
25.
IGBF.
Yeah.
IGBF,
IG
that?
Wranglers.
Oh,
Instagram.
oh,
boyfriend.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was Comic-Con for us.
That was Comic-Con.
People are still having sex.
People are still having
That song
sex.
stuck in my. I'll play for you guys afterwards. It's such a great song.
Are
Wait,
still
no.
having sex.
Really?
No, I'm just playing.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah. So it was fun. I got to meet up with a lot of people, and that's kind of what
so popular.
no. That's what I use Con for these days. It's like reunion time for me. So.
Did you guys hit up any after parties?
Not
I'm sure
really.
Earl did.
Oh, dude, why'd you like?
He
that took a
hesitated.
while, man.
Yeah.
It took a while for
Oh,
you to
he was
say
at
that.
a party, all right. You know what I'm saying?
This year was actually quite chill in
Google
terms
member.
of parties.
Quite chill.
Quite chill.
Quite chill.
We did have a mixer for the Geek Say What panel afterwards. So that was like the extent of my partying. A lot of them
Okay.
went to the Hard Rock afterwards, and I went to get a burrito or something.
except not with us.
Yeah.
We went to get a burrito.
Oh,
To be
yes, he
fair-
did.
Oh,
Every time I
Air
texted
quotes.
one of these two, y'all were already back in your.
Because you took forever to respond.
you
We're not
didn't
just going to
respond
wait
at all.
for you. We have lives, Earl.
It was like 8:00. I'm like, hey, where y'all at? Oh, we went home already. I'm like,
Admittedly,
Oh,
yeah, it was like
all
20
right.
minutes and then we left.
we got really tired. I mean, after walking around all day,
Right.
you have to have some kind of freaky stamina just to
Yep.
stand up
oh yeah,
at the end of like
that's the
12
thing
hours.
with Comic Con. It's like it's a marathon, and it's
Yeah.
like it's some people train for that. You know, it's like because
yeah.
you just have to have the stamina to like wait around and stand all day and all that stuff, and deal with this like standing in the sun. And I didn't even get to do any activations.
I heard it was
don't know
hot
if
as
you
shit.
guys
I
did.
We didn't
do-
either.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty hot.
Yeah.
It was warm. Yeah,
Not that bad.
it wasn't like
Towards the nighttime,
Like
previous
last
years,
year, yeah.
Previous years, it's been like drip. My shirts were dripping in. Like,
Did you guys hit up
Yeah,
any
shit.
activations on the outside?
No,
We
I
didn't.
didn't.
No.
I had friends working at Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Superstore.
Oh,
So
so
did
did
I.
I.
had a friend
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
at Brooklyn
Oh, yeah?
Nine-Nine
Was it the
as
same
well.
friend?
I don't
No.
know. Brooklyn Nine-Nine
Well,
was
maybe it is the same friend. Ask.
Shalimar.
Okay,
Shout out to Shalimar.
Mikey. Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey Betty.
No,
Anyway,
I didn't.
hi,
Yeah. Hey,
Mikey.
what's up?
Yeah, and I also had friends working at the Expanse activation too, which I did not get to check out.
I
So
know.
we
I
didn't-
really wanted to check out the
Yeah.
Expanse.
Yeah, I'm gonna have questions because I have no idea what's going on with the Expanse. I feel like
Me
an idiot,
neither.
But yeah,
Aaron
We'll
Davis.
You're not,
find out-
you're
we'll
not
find out
deep
later
enough
on.
yet.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
neither of us are.
Let's
I know.
keep getting.
We gotta
deeper.
get deeper.
we gotta get deeper.
Aaron Davis says I averaged 8 miles a day for 4 days. I don't.
Wow.
I totally believe that.
Aaron's
Yeah.
from San Diego. I bet.
Aaron Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure
snap.
he's gone to every single one for the past.
Yeah.
Wow.
And 8
Right,
miles
Aaron?
for every day. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that. That's absolutely like
Nice,
within the
nice.
realm of possibility.
Yeah.
And Lint324 says 4-day cons are my exercise for the year.
For the year.
whole year.
I believe it.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Very cool.
I re-downloaded Pokemon Go recently.
Oh
and I
my
clocked
god!
so many miles on that thing.
Every time it was like, Jen, what's going on? Are we gonna? She's like, wait, hold on, catching this Pikachu. Like, I was like, what?
Yes.
Don't you know that craze died out 3 years ago? No.
So that's a real,
coming back.
real
No.
reason why y'all left. Y'all
It's
went to go
because Jen
chase
was trying.
Pokemon.
She
That's
kept trying
what
to
it
catch
was.
Pokemon.
No. And like, mind you, please give me some credit for being an expert navigator. Like,
What was that one Pokemon you kept catching?
what is it?
It was you put it on your Insta story and you caught like a billion of them.
Mudkips.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is a Mudkip?
Mudkips.
And then I realized they were
Mudkips.
Pokemon.
Mudkips are cute. Anyway, so yeah, I caught a bunch of Pokemon, but also like, yeah, navigated the whole thing. I was mapping out, okay, so this time is this panel, and then this you have to go to this, and you have to take the trolley to this and this and this.
Yeah, I let
was
Jen take care of all of it. I just blindly followed her. I don't know what was
Right.
going on. I could have been kidnapped. I
kinda
was just like,
I kind of get off on that kind of thing.
I know
you know
you
what I
do.
mean? I'm just like, wow.
I try to give you that pleasure.
it's like it'll take like approximately 30 minutes
Actually,
to get
no.
there, so we
That
can make
makes
it
sense.
in time. I don't know. Maybe I'm just born to be a project manager or something.
Any other miscellaneous crazy stories?
Things that I
based
get
off
off
of,
on?
Yeah. Damn it! It always never
You guys,
fails.
we're like 12 years
It
old.
never
Like,
fucking
can we get over these
Holy
stupid
shit.
dick
No,
jokes?
I don't think so. Because if we stop, we're gonna lose our audience. I'll tell you that much right fucking now. God damn it.
Oh God, Pangeekery,
Lord.
dick jokes.
Yeah.
Dick
and fart jokes.
Dick-
Dick and fart jokes.
Yeah.
deep.
Any
what
final
is it?
thoughts? Is there
deeper.
anything
Balls
that you
deeper. There
guys
you go.
experienced or saw at Comic-Con that you're sort of looking forward to? Maybe something that we're not going to talk about later on today.
Yeah.
Oh
We
my
were-
God.
Or if
I know
there
we're
is,
going to
that's
talk
fine.
about it later, but
Yeah.
like the big surprise for a con for me in terms of announcements was Blade. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah.
So
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh, right.
Blade was like our sustenance during the comic book movie dark years. You know,
Oh.
He was
That
like one of the OGs, right?
Yeah, it was one of the OG
Yeah,
comic book
yeah.
movies, and
Before
it was such
before
a
it was cool, yeah.
Before it was cool, it was such a weird off choice for a comic book movie because it wasn't a popular character. Blade was never a popular
Yeah.
character until the movie, of course.
Right.
So when it popped up in the 90s, it was like, whoa, this is crazy. The first comic book movie we're going to have in a while. And to see them bring it back, especially with, the cast who
Right.
they casted, which we'll talk about in a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
that
heard
was
Wesley
exciting.
Snipes was sad when he heard the news.
I bet
What?
he was.
Oh, that he wasn't invited
Yeah.
back? Or?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard something before that saying that he was going to be involved in this one, but then I just read
He's
a recent,
old hat,
Or,
y'all.
he could be. I don't
kidding.
know, something, but
Oh, so speaking of Hall H Game of Thrones panel, so turns out the cast that was there were like defending the end of the series. And
Okay.
they didn't actually take questions from the audience this
And
time
guess
around.
who wasn't there?
Wait.
Kit Harington and Amelia Clark.
No,
were
no, no,
not
no, no.
there.
More importantly, D&D weren't there.
D&D. Oh, you mean
Yeah,
for
they,
the
they
Thrones
claimed
panel,
they
right.
had some
Yeah.
other project
No,
that
they
they
would've
needed to
gotten
attend
shot.
to. Yeah, they did not open up a section for fan questions.
Yeah.
Oh,
At the
no.
beginning, they
Oh,
basically
God.
had like an announcer come and say like, "Let's all try to be civil.
Dude, there
We
would've
all
been a
like
fucking
this
riot.
show."
Yeah.
Booing.
No, they were
And
trying.
the-
They were trying to make sure
Yeah.
people weren't booing.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you could, and even at the panel that we went to,
Yeah.
you people were murmuring. They were trying to ask the actor who played the Then, like,
Right.
so what did you think about that? Like, don't you think it sucked? And then he was like,
I gotta go.
He was trying.
yeah, he was
really
like,
hard.
well,
Look
you
at
know,
the time.
it's like you can't please everyone. You would never go.
Everybody on the cast makes that face when they have to explain that.
It's
shit.
true because they always make faces.
about that.
Can't please.
Because if they really felt like it was really good, they'd be
Yeah.
like, no, I mean, like, people say it wasn't good, but I really like it.
Right.
Instead, they do this, like, this grimace, like, and then they look at their friends.
Yeah.
And they go like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Like they spoke about it before.
HBO
right?
has
Yeah,
a laser
yeah.
on their forehead.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a heat laser.
And the thing is, it's sad because like it's over. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm sure they all want to just like walk away with a good experience, like being grateful for like what the series was and meant to them. You know what I mean? So
So you
I
read
think
the
they're
books.
yeah, I
like
think
you
they're
guys-
just trying to wrap a pretty bow on it, but like
Right.
people are just kind of like,
No,
I'm
no.
gonna just not.
Like you guys, like the true
Right.
fans, like you guys,
The
like you
true
guys
fans.
mentioned in previous episodes. You guys are gonna keep talking about it for
Right.
a
Oh, we
while.
will.
We will.
I'm sure
It's
you
a
know,
landmark in storytelling. You
Yes.
know,
And it's like a
TV
rule of the
making.
internet. Anything can be boiled down to a bad season 8 Game of Thrones analogy.
God. Oh
It's
no.
true.
Whenever I feel stressed out or unhappy in my life, I go on YouTube and I find anti Game of Thrones video essays,
Right.
or specifically like season 7 and 8 essays,
Yeah.
and then I feel better
I'm
because
gonna
I
stop.
feel
I'm
validated.
gonna stop everybody right now because look at where we're going. Right fucking.
Okay,
now.
okay,
I'm just kidding.
fine.
No,
feel
that's
like-
fine.
I don't know. I
Damn it,
I see
Earl.
those, and I'm not sure. Like I watch because I don't get the same pleasure out of them.
I get pleasure.
It makes you
I
angry,
don't.
right?
No, well, it kind of makes me angry. But
Angry?
angry. It makes me
It's so-
angry.
it makes you so
Angry?
angry he can't
Makes
speak.
me
Wow.
It
Makes me
turns
so
me-
angry.
Turns you into angry.
turns me into
Taiwanese
angry.
directory.
No, I mean, not that it even makes me angry. It just it kind of makes me sad. It's just
It
like,
makes me sad,
Well,
too.
of course.
Yeah.
But it
of
makes me
both.
happy because it makes me feel validated. Like, I'm not crazy. You think the same thing.
Well, I feel like that we've always been validated. You know, I feel like there's been a lot of validation going around in terms of like not liking
Yeah.
those two. So I don't think well, personally that I need any more. It's just like all like sad about the entire situation.
get it.
Anyway, rest
Oh.
in peace, Game of Thrones.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace from Comic Con as well.
So yeah, next year Comic Con. Well, let's all actually do
We
it together.
get
Maybe.
free
So down.
tickets.
If we can get tickets, yeah.
Yeah, and if we can get into some Hall H thing.
How soon
Yeah.
do they go on, or are they?
If I remember correctly,
Available?
we like the professionals get
Yeah.
your badge renewal notices like at the beginning of the year.
Arnold,
So
get us
around
press
June.
passes.
Yeah.
Then we can see everything.
Well,
You're right
here,
on
that's
top
the
of
thing.
that.
If you do get a press pass, you have easier access in Hall H. So
Nice.
See,
No,
should
no,
have
no,
done
no, no.
this year
See,
so we could see the Game
By
of
that
Thrones
time,
panel.
that's gonna happen. Fucking balls deepery. Watch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
What-
so
they-
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Great.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
all right. So
right.
next year, yeah, well, come see us next year at Comic-Con. We'll have a panel, maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying things. But hopefully we will be doing awesome things. We will be doing awesome things. But yeah, catch us there next year. And I don't know, did anybody have anything else to say about Comic-Con?
Wish I was there. Okay, moving on.
All right. So now we are going to move into our next section, Stranger Things Season 3, Episodes 7 and 8, the last two of the season. What did everybody, what was everybody's experience?
Oh, Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
What did you guys think?
Season
I'm looking
3.
at you, Earl and Arnold.
No, okay.
Why are you so quiet?
Okay, so
You know my
Yeah, no,
you
no,
know,
no.
What did you think of last two
I was
episodes?
there last episode, so I get what everyone was saying. You
Right.
know? I see like both sides of the argument. Like for me, it was entertaining. It was action packed enough for me to keep watching it and
Right.
stay motivated with it. The
Right.
jokes, like if there were any jokes, they sucked.
Wait, you said they
You
sucked?
like the
No,
jokes?
because if there was any humor, like the humor,
Like, it's, like,
sometimes
obvious,
humor,
yeah.
like keeps me going.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
it's like that
Yeah.
little
Right.
boost of energy for me, you know.
Yeah.
But there was none in there. But there was enough action, I guess, and loud noises to keep me.
Sustain.
Yeah. No, I was not on drugs or anything like
Fan
that.
Michael Bay over
You're
here.
not
Yeah.
deep enough, Arnold. You need to get deeper.
Oh my god.
Deeper.
Oh wait, is this an Inception joke or is this like?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
There should be like a counter that
interesting.
says
How many times do we
Yeah,
reference
exactly.
penises?
How many
Or
times have we
something.
said
We
balls
are
deep?
balls deepery, right?
Yeah.
Balls deepery.
I'll say
Yeah, go ahead.
that, like, I mean, I still love season one. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
my
I feel
favorite
like
season.
season one
I love
was
season
a
two.
masterpiece. Season
I
two,
love season two, actually,
hit like an
yeah.
emotional core for
Yeah.
me. Like, I will always think back to that episode where Will is tied up and you can't see the inside of the shed, and
good.
everybody goes up to him and goes like, "Don't you remember?
Yeah.
Like, this is how we became friends. This is how we became whatever." You know what I mean? Like, Stranger Things for me like transcends like a lot of new genres because it takes
Yep.
something that we all know and recognize like out of the nostalgia and it creates something new out of it, you know?
Agreed.
Like it like has so much subtlety and depth, you know? And I kind of felt like that was lacking in this like newer season,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, the thing is the action does ramp up like, you know, towards the later episodes, like you do feel like, okay, like the stakes are coming in. For me, I guess like the biggest thing was about structure. You know, like the first season, you have like one monster. So then the structure is like going towards like following a classic horror movie where
Yeah.
you can't see the monster and then you're like ramping up towards the big final battle, right?
Like we
And-
were all trying to figure it out.
Right, exactly. And like the part of the genius is like the kids figuring out the smart way
Exactly.
to outwit the monster, right?
Yeah.
In the third season, I feel like they were a little bit like on the sidelines, like hitting. There were so many enemies. First off, there's like, you know, whatever's happening with the Ratch, and then it turns into Mind Flayer, like putting on the zombie body. And then there's also
Billy
the Russians.
and the Russians.
I felt
Yeah.
like they probably split some of their time between the Russians and the monster enough so that my attention was a little diverted
Right.
into
Yeah.
two
Right.
different
Yeah.
directions. Even though I feel like to simplify this, they could have like made it one single thing. Like
I
maybe
agree.
maybe the Russians are making the Mind Flayer
Yeah,
to
because
defeat the Americans or something.
They spend the entire season trying to lead us towards the Russians when we already knew what the Russians were doing
Yes.
in literally the first scene.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
a little, you know.
I felt like they spent too much time on that. We could have seen
Yeah.
more of the main characters
Agreed.
associating with each other. There were some good moments. Like I loved Robin and Steve's conversation in the bathroom.
That was great.
Where,
See, I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna turn cliche, like, oh, he's not into
Right.
Nancy anymore because now he's found his new lady love, and then she's lesbian.
Exactly.
And I was like,
I was
okay,
waiting
all right,
for
all
that.
right, all right, all right, I'll take
was
that.
great.
Yeah, that was a good twist
That
for
was
me.
a good
Otherwise,
twist.
I would have hated it.
Yeah.
Because it was so predictable.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
I
so
need
predictable.
something to
Yeah.
fucking blow my fucking
All
mind.
right, now you're
Right.
getting deep.
So that was like that.
I wasn't watching you because I was obsessed with you.
Yeah,
I was like,
Oh,
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I thought about it beforehand because she never said I like you. She
Right.
just said like,
Oh, I didn't realize
I'm
that.
obsessed with you.
She made it seem as though,
I
yeah.
couldn't stop watching you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
So that was nice. What did you guys think of Billy and his arc?
I was gonna say.
like the whole thing, because the thing with his memories of his mom,
Yeah.
and all of a
Right.
sudden you feel bad for him, and then when
Great
11,
picture of him, by the
that's
way.
great.
That's a great picture.
That was a good one.
But
He's a great
he's
actor.
so
He
hot.
is.
Like
Yeah.
when 11, like
Damn
when
it, you guys said
11,
it at the same time.
when 11 stroked his cheek,
Yeah.
Right.
and there were like tears in
Right.
his beautiful blue eyes. I was like, damn,
man.
Billy. Damn.
I don't
Season
know what
two,
it is
like-
about
yeah.
me. Like, I just cannot fall in love with an asshole. So, as hot
That's
as
what I
somebody
mean.
is, if they're like an asshole, they're like ugly to me.
Wow.
So, like,
It's very
I
rare.
never
Oh,
found
okay.
Billy.
So you don't,
From
you
what
don't
I
like,
hear.
you don't like, then you must not like villains, right? You don't, you don't
well,
fall for
I like
the.
villains, but
But you don't-
Billy is like an asshole.
I see what you mean.
You know
He's
what
so
I mean?
despicable.
So did you
yeah.
hate
Yeah.
Steve?
Cannot be
I
assholes.
hated.
Okay.
I
I did.
still kind of hate Steve.
You still
Yeah.
kind of hate Steve.
I'm okay with him now.
Okay.
But it took a long
Steve is still
Right.
a very
time.
brash guy.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
hated
yeah.
Steve.
It was like it's like a good balance now.
Well,
Yeah.
Steve
Yeah.
triggered me because he reminded me of this guy
An
I used to date.
ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, who was really manipulative and used to make me do things that I didn't want to
Yeah,
do.
he was super
no.
douchey.
So he was so
Right.
douchey, and I was like, I
Gosh.
freaking hate Steve.
Right.
Oh,
And yeah,
So, yeah, Billy, I felt like I really wanted to see that emotional arc because, like, clearly a couple years have passed. So, like, him and Max seem to have a better relationship than they
Right.
did before because she's emotionally invested in what happens to Billy now.
Right.
I wish we could have seen some more of that in the beginning so
Agreed.
that we could feel the tragedy of Billy losing his life at
great.
the end.
They really should have concentrated on the brother-sister relationship this season, and
Totally.
they did not. They
we got
they,
to see flashes of
like
it.
a
A little
Flash,
bit, but at the same time,
not
it seemed like she
enough to
didn't
me.
care
I feel like
enough.
that
That's what I
ending, that
mean.
part
Yeah,
with
yeah.
11. I don't know how it could have happened narratively, but I feel like that should have been Max.
Yeah.
Like that should have been Max doing
Totally.
Like, why
like
is she closer to him? Than-
like it would have been more poignant. It would have been like, wow, they're having this sibling moment where they're finally coming together, and
Right.
she understands him now.
Yeah.
She understands his pain because she can see his past. I don't know how they would have managed it, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know, maybe 11 could have told her. I don't know,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it would have been more
I
poignant.
think
for
they
me.
were kind of going in that direction when 11 was kind of relaying what she was seeing to Max and the rest of the kids. But
Yeah,
it didn't fully like manifest.
Agreed.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
So Hopper.
But I still cried.
Sorry, go on, Earl.
Well, I think what I'm going to say is more of a wrap up thing. So yeah, where
Okay.
are we going with the? Oh, you were
With
going to say
Billy.
Hopper.
I was going to
Yeah.
say Hopper. Like,
I was
what do
gonna
we
say the
think
same
about
thing.
that?
Like, what do you guys think about Hopper's character and the romance, the hand holding? You guys remember that with Winona in the ride? They start holding hands.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. I think I'm just going to say what I was
hands.
going to
Yeah.
say.
Okay.
I think that all the problems I have with season 3 are they're all pacing problems.
Yeah,
They're
agreed.
all
Yeah.
pacing
And
problems.
structure for me.
Pacing and structure.
Yeah.
I think that if we had gotten to like in improv, we have there's a concept that is get to the game. In room to improv, we say
Yes.
get to the weenie, find the weenie.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I'm all about
if
it.
you have a hot dog,
do
right,
it.
and you eat a hot dog and it's all bread, it's like this is a shitty hot dog.
Okay.
I want to eat the fucking hot dog. I will get to the
The
meat.
hot dog's
I
got to be
honestly
the same length as
So
the bun.
okay.
God damn it, or a
So-
little bit longer,
Get to
perhaps.
the meat of the
Wow.
narrative.
Yeah.
Yes.
like get to the point,
I
basically.
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Okay.
I think the first 3 episodes should have
3
been one
episodes.
episode.
Yeah,
and I think
absolutely.
the 8th episode, the final episode, should have been like episode 6 so that we could really like feel
There was
the
so much
magnitude.
happening there.
There's
I-
too much happening all
But
at
I
once.
think the tone also is what did it for me. The tonal change, like that singing session
Right.
with Susie.
I don't.
Guys,
Let's
come
talk about that.
on
Let's talk
now.
about that because
That singing session with and her
I didn't
teeth
know-
are so
I didn't-
yellow.
okay, here's
I
the
kept
thing.
staring at her
Oh,
yellow
yeah, they're
teeth.
saying her-
It was like her
Just
teeth,
her
just
top
her
row.
row are so yellow.
Her bottom row is
Why are
white.
you
What the
hating
fuck?
on her?
No, no, no,
They're
she's just- okay.
yellow. Okay, fine. I'll
So
stop.
Jesus.
I didn't know I needed that scene until I saw it. It's so fucking weird.
That
It's-
scene was
it's-
all right.
I know what they were trying to do. Like, oh,
Right.
remember Susie? We're gonna bring her back for this important plot point.
but it's also a never-ending story.
But you know
Yeah.
what? She was a good singer. They're both
She's
good
great.
singers.
They're good
They
singers.
sang
Well, you know-
great. And she was a good actress too. I thought she was adorable. really.
They're both Broadway
Yeah.
alum.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why. I was
And-
like,
that's why.
He was
And
like
good
Les
singers.
Mis.
Gavin, in particular,
I didn't know that.
he played Gavroche in Les Mis.
like
The
for
little
kids.
boy, yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
gotcha. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So there's a video of him singing. I forget which song it is, but like he's stellar. Yeah,
Maybe that's
it might.
why
Yeah, it is
they're
Bring
like,
Him Home. He sings
let's
Bring Him
use
Home.
it.
He's stellar.
Oh wow.
But
Well,
yeah,
they had good voices. It was cute. They sang Never Ending
Yeah.
never
Ending
story. Theme,
Yeah.
I feel like it went on for
It was-
too long.
It's
Oh, it's
interesting
perfect. I love
because
it.
it was like
Speaking of never-ending
That's
story,
me.
What? What do you mean that's you?
that's Earl.
That's 4-year-old,
On top of
5-year-old.
Falcor.
No, get
Riding-
out of here. What?
That's-
And then is that like a
Riding
Dark Crystal
Falcor.
thing?
No, that's Never
from
Ending
Never
Story.
Ending
That's,
Story.
that's Falcor from
okay.
Never Ending
I
Story.
couldn't finish that movie. Like I
I
just
know you
fell
have
asleep. Yeah.
a
I didn't
puppet
like
thing,
it.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Wait, what is it? Were you at a theme park or
no,
something?
this is I just photoshopped this.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
That's a clean Photoshop.
Oh,
Are you,
thank
are you
you,
supposed to be writing it? Like, what are
Yeah,
you doing?
I am writing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like you're having fun.
Oh yeah. What else would I be doing?
I don't know what you're doing behind that creature. Well, for all I know, you're
Actually, God damn it, Caitlin.
What's he doing behind?
Can we change the picture now, please?
I know.
Balls deep
He's
in
like,
Falcor.
There it is. Okay.
Go.
Back to this.
Anyway,
Anyways.
for those of you who can't see it, it's a picture of
like,
4-year-old
Earl
on top
riding
of
Falcor.
Falcor
with a
from
bowl
Right.
bowl
Never Ending
haircut.
Story.
Bull haircut. It's that scene at the end after Bastion chases those bullies like on top of Falcor. So it's just me photoshopped on top of the
That's great.
yeah.
Amazing.
Anyway, but okay, so back to Hopper though. I really felt like his character was like so one-dimensional for me this season. I
Right.
feel like he usually has so much depth, like he is the anti-hero, but like I was disappointed when he just killed all those Russians. I was just like
That was the cherry on top.
he just
just
mowed
murdered
down a whole
them.
bunch of Russians, and I was like, hang on, like he's
and
a
Joyce
hero,
barely
though.
blinked. She was like,
like,
what are
"Oh,
you doing?"
okay."
Yeah.
You-
well,
you
11
guys
killed Russians too.
hate when
But-
people you don't expect just end up just killing
Just
a bunch
being
of people.
dead.
Well,
That's
I don't.
what I
Hopper
mean.
wouldn't do that. The old Hopper wouldn't do that. 11 in the first season, 11 is shown killing some of the
Two
like plant
people
employees,
in prison.
Right.
but that's trying to show that like she's like erratic. You
She
know,
can't
she
control
can't control her
herself.
powers,
Yeah.
and she's like kind of getting crazy.
He's always had hints of being super violent, though, hasn't he? Like throughout.
No,
the
I don't.
series?
I don't
He has-
remember him
he has
killing
hints-
people.
Well, not killing
not
people,
of
but,
rage.
like-
I mean, like
He's
not
killing
of,
people in this one.
Right. He hasn't had hints of being necessarily like of like super violent. He has. Had
He's like,
hints
don't
of
fuck with
rage.
me.
Right.
He's like a badass.
Right.
Don't fuck with me. But
Yeah.
these are like violent rages where he's like threatening to chop off the mayor's finger.
in a pencil sharpener.
Yeah, he beats-
Yeah,
like Lynn says, he beats up that cop.
he beats up the cop. He just randomly kills all those
I was a
Russians.
little
They weren't even
scared
doing
of
anything to
him.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
It felt like
Anyway.
a weird like departure from what we know of Hopper.
it is, and I
Right.
can't root for him anymore.
That's what, like, at the end when he, like, you know, oh, spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah.
When he,
Sacrifices.
like, sacrifices himself in the thing, I was just like, I don't know who you were this season. I don't even know how to feel right now.
It happened so
Like,
fast. I
it
had to
happened so
rewind it
quickly. I
because
was
I didn't
like,
even realize
what's
what
happening?
happened. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean that goes back to the whole pacing thing. If this had if the season used its time better, then we
would've
wouldn't be
felt
talking
that.
about this. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
If it didn't fill the entire season with these kind of like weird romance things with him and Joyce and all
yeah, it was
that.
very forced.
They were also really yelling at each other the
Right.
whole time, which wasn't like, I don't know. I don't think that's an ideal relationship,
No.
in my opinion.
I think it would have been more interesting to
having
see
arguments.
her still dealing with the death of Bob.
Right.
We
Yeah.
barely gave any tribute to. It was like another Barbara.
Right.
And him seeing her mourning after him and him like wanting to be there for her, but also still liking her.
Yeah, having a
That
real
would have been more
relationship.
interesting to me.
It would have
yeah.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that if you know, if they had done that, it would have been a little more interesting.
Like my favorite moments between Hop and Joyce are in the previous seasons where like they just share a cigarette together.
Yeah,
You know what I
so
mean?
subtle.
And that's
yeah.
all they're doing. It's like, oh my God, I wonder if they're gonna get together. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I love
because
that.
they simply can just sit with each other. But like this season, they were just yelling at each other all the time for like nonsensical
She
reasons.
stands him up and doesn't apologize.
I know,
Right.
and totally forgets about
so
it.
rude.
I don't
Yeah.
know why all of this seems so
rude.
normal to me.
Really?
Normal.
I don't know.
Speaks to my
It didn't,
Past
I don't know.
relationships.
It just
I'm
it
just
seemed like a
kidding.
departure from what I
Also-
thought they were.
Also, what's his name? The conspiracy theorist. I always forget his
Murray.
name. Murray.
Now we know his name.
He even calls it out. Like you guys are like arguing.
I
so
hated
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
part
The fuck up.
where he's like, just rip off your clothes.
In the car?
I can just, I can imagine the writers being like, hey, remember last season when he
Right.
told Nancy and Jonathan to get
Jonathan
together?
that?
Let's do the same
Right,
thing.
right.
It'll get
Yeah.
that plot point across. I was like, we didn't need that.
We don't need that. And it
We
was
didn't
also-
need that hand holding. Like,
Yeah.
it was forced.
I do love that Jonathan and Nancy are still together, though.
Yeah.
I think they're really good for each other.
I think Nancy's
Yeah.
also a badass.
She's great.
Like,
Right.
she's not my favorite character. I don't know if
I
it's
like
the
her a lot.
actress who's like kind of annoying me, but I will say, I think if this was made like 10, 15 years ago, all her badassery would have been given to Jonathan, and she
Right.
would have been the side character. But now she is the moving protagonist here, who is always looking deeper into the mystery. You know what I mean? And it's always Nancy.
Yeah.
And okay, I will say there was one scene that I really liked, and it was with Nancy and her mom. Her mom
Yeah,
who kind
that
of
was
got
great.
shortchanged this season. We thought the mom was gonna have a bigger
Yeah,
role. But
same here.
Didn't really.
Right.
But that scene where her mom was like, "You're my daughter, and you need to stand your ground," and
I
they,
love that.
I was like, I wish my mom gave me a talk like that.
But
You
so-
That
know,
was a good moment.
It was a great moment.
Yeah.
Again, we could have had more of that if
Exactly.
if we didn't
Yeah.
if there wasn't 3 episodes worth of like exposition.
Yeah.
And it was just like I didn't need to know exactly what everybody was doing. I almost don't
Right.
care what everybody was doing over
Yeah.
this break. If we started in medias res and started
Right.
the entire thing running, I would have been
Right.
much better with that.
I really wish also like Dustin and the adults could have joined forces or worked together like strategically with the rest of the kids, you know. They seem like they
Sooner,
were
right.
Yeah, cuz like they only met up like at the
At the
very,
very end.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's the overarching, like what Rodney just said. That's the overarch. If I had to hashtag
Yeah.
Stranger Things season 3,
Yeah.
it's hashtag sooner. Just get the shit sooner.
Get to the weenie.
Yeah, get to the
Get
win.
to the
I also feel
Find
like
the game.
That new girl. What's Uma Thurman's daughter's name?
Robin.
Maya
No, but like in
the
the, show.
character is
Robin.
Robin,
Okay.
yeah.
Robin and Erica. Whew, I'm not going to talk about Erica. Lucas's little sister.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
she's supposed to be annoying.
Right.
Yeah, but like I don't
did a
know,
good
man.
job.
She did an excellent job of being annoying. But I feel like because they're just introduced into this
Right.
whole underworld of craziness, and I feel like their reactions should have been a little stronger. Of course, they were like, "What's going on?" But like, I'm taken back to season 5 of Game of Thrones when Tyrion first sees a dragon. We've been
Right.
seeing dragons the entire series, so it doesn't shock us. But we have to realize Tyrion's never seen a dragon, and so when he sees a dragon, and then subsequently when everyone else sees a dragon for the first time, the characters are in awe. You know,
Right.
I'm not quite sure I got that from Robin and Erica. Maybe I did. Maybe they didn't. I just wasn't paying attention. It didn't seem that way though. I don't know.
I had a problem with the monster because the monster because it collects like goo and debris from like other decomposed bodies, right?
Right.
And then it can like shapeshift
Yeah.
and also deconstruct itself to fit through doorways.
Right.
You know, with that kind of ability, it's like
The Blob.
practically invincible. It's like
like
the
a blob,
blob.
yeah.
That's
Or
an 80s movie.
I got
as well.
reminded.
I think that's what they're. That's what
I
they were
think
trying
that's
to
what
do.
they
The
were
Thing
hearkening
as
to.
well.
The
Or
Thing
reminded
as
of the
well.
Yeah.
Thing as well. But it reminded me of like Batman Beyond, the animated series.
Yeah.
There was this one villain called Ink,
With
Yeah.
right?
Terry?
Yeah, with
Ink.
Terry.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Terry,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Batman with Terry Barker.
What,
Yeah.
you mean my boyfriend?
And
Terry?
she could melt into ink and basically slide down doorways, and she
Right.
jumped into Batman's mouth and tried to
Oh,
rip him
shit.
apart from the inside.
You know that's a
what I mean?
euphemism, right?
Oh, sure.
For sex.
I'm sure everything is a euphemism for sex.
She jumped into his mouth.
Can I make my point?
Everything.
please?
Okay, all right. I'm just saying
Yeah.
we are balls deep. Right? Gotta keep
we
bringing
gotta
it
go
back.
balls deep. You know,
I'm
I'm good for something. Is going balls deep.
I was about to.
People are still having sex.
Sorry, people are still having sex.
Right. People are still having sex.
Go,
Can I
Jen,
please
Go, Jen,
make
go.
my
Go,
point?
go, Jen, go,
Okay.
Jen,
Okay, so the monster reminded me of Ink, and to that extent, I'm like, this thing could literally be invincible. So why is it that every character seems like they have plot armor on? You know,
I thought the
when
same thing.
When they reach over to Nancy, like Nancy almost gets killed
Right,
twice.
right.
Yeah.
11 only gets a thing on
She gets
her
a thing
leg.
on her leg. I feel like at this point they were really stretching the plot armor.
They
And
were
I
really-
also feel like
yeah.
Elle was she was OP. Like there was nothing she couldn't lift. You know what I mean? Unless actually,
Yeah.
I think there was a point where she couldn't lift
She
something.
saved the day like 5 times.
well, I mean,
So many,
Yeah.
and then
She loses
every
her
time
power,
Will touches his neck,
Right.
I
Right.
sense it. It's like, can we find some other way to know
Some
that
other
the
device.
flare? Yeah, some other device other than Will. And also, I feel like Will kind of got relegated to the sidelines.
He absolutely
Like
did.
they were trying to make him more important in the beginning of the series or of the season, and then
he was definitely the
he's
center
not the
of
star
season
anymore.
1.
He was center of season 1 and 2.
And 2, right.
But now he's just the side friend,
Yeah.
you know?
That might be actually the core of everything's problems because they didn't have one core.
That's what I mean.
What do you
They
mean, like
split the
a
enemies.
protagonist?
They
or-
split the enemies.
Yeah, well, both
And
yes,
like an
enemies
emphasis?
and protagonist.
and the storylines.
So you guys
yeah.
think certainly in season 1 it revolves around Will.
Yeah,
Like, let's
Around
try to
Will
find Will.
and the
Right.
Demogorgon.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in season 2 it was still about Will, I think.
It was
It was Will, and
he's
it was about
Will-
the gate.
And the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
The
right.
Will and the Mind Flayer.
And now this third one, it's a
It's
bit
about the-
harder to say. It's about the Mind Flayer.
the Russians, and then
But they just went back
Basically
to
Right.
find this person and fight the monster.
Yeah,
Like-
and then it kind of instead of Will, it was like Billy now, who we don't have as much an attachment to.
Right.
They were trying to build up characterization for him, like kind of haphazardly.
halfway through.
Yeah,
after
I mean,
he was already
I still
second.
cried when he died. I
cried when he
I
died.
still cried when
Yeah.
11 had that moment with him. But I
Right.
knew I was being manipulated.
I got more sad when Alexi got shot, but
when
I
Alexi-
know.
Oh yeah.
Poor Alexi, man.
Yeah.
But
What
you
a
know
guy.
why? Because he's expendable. Like he's not that big of a character, so they can kill him off. You know what I mean?
But,
Right. But I don't know why
I feel
I
like
was so
Alexi got
attached
more
to him.
screen time
Yeah.
than
Alexi-
Billy did.
That's
Then
true.
Billy did.
Yeah.
I
You
actually, don't think
I think so.
Alexi needed to exist as a character, honestly,
No,
because
no,
I wanted
no.
to
He's-
see more.
What was
Right.
the point of him again? Like
He was there just
They-
because he was
Like,
the
had
lead
information.
scientist. Yeah, lead
he was
scientist.
a prisoner.
Right.
yeah.
That reminded me of when Ricky got shot in Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, man. That was-
I don't know why.
did it really?
It did.
Why?
He was just all happy, like, "Hey, I won a prize."
With the
Oh, I
hardcore
know.
dog.
He got shot by
oh, I
Terminator,
won.
man. Dude,
Sorry. I just
my
I don't know
God.
why I thought that when I watched that.
But you knew it was gonna happen too, because
I-
it got
Yeah.
slow mo,
Right,
right,
and then
right.
you knew it was gonna
like
get
no,
shot.
Yeah.
no.
Traitor. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I mean,
Terminator.
I think that at the very least, we are left at an interesting endpoint for season.
I was gonna
4.
ask, what do you guys think is gonna happen next?
I don't know. Well, we have
What year is this right now?
like 80,
85.
5? Right.
That whole thing with Back to the Future.
Can I use it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they had to make a reference because it's that time.
I
you
Right,
know?
right.
But like,
Anyways, okay.
But I gotta read this comment that somebody told me on my Facebook
Okay.
about, and it mirrors what I feel so far. He said the show has been reduced to more feel-good moments in fan service.
Right.
Though the writing does successfully subvert audience expectations, it lacks the original mystery the first season gave us. All the information is revealed up front rather than a slow reveal to
Okay.
keep us glued.
I'll take
And we
that,
are
yeah.
glued to the current season because we are attached to the characters
Yeah.
rather than to the story and the plot.
Imagine if this was the first season.
If this was the first season, we
I
wouldn't,
People wouldn't
love it
really
as
care.
much.
Yeah, they'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But this was Brian Diep. Thank you. I was going to mention Brian Diep,
you know
who I
him?
went to UC Riverside with.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I felt like that was a pretty succinct comment for how I felt about it overall.
Agreed.
And I love the characters. Of course we do.
Right.
That's why we like love the season, is because like we're
Yeah.
like, oh my God, we get to see them again. You know what I mean?
Still great performances by the actors too.
Amazing.
Like
Right.
11
Amazing
just keeps
actors.
getting better and
She's
better.
incredible.
She's incredible.
What a
Like,
find, you know?
Wow. Even like her accent sounds so American, and you have to
Yeah.
forget she's not American.
Yeah.
You
She
know
has this like withdrawn
Isn't
voice.
Billy
Yeah.
British too?
who?
Billy.
Billy?
Oh,
He's
Dacre.
English?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's
Dacre,
British.
Oh, he's
what's his
so
name?
good.
Dacre Montgomery.
Dacre.
I can't even tell.
Daiquiri.
Jonathan, yeah. That's right.
Oh,
Jonathan
nice.
is also British.
Jonathan's British.
Yep.
Yo, these guys are great
Yeah,
actors.
they're good.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
wait,
are.
what happened?
Nancy
Jonathan
and
and
Jonathan.
Nancy
Yeah.
Oh, that's
got
right. You
together
told
in
me.
real life.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's very cute. Yeah.
Aw.
It's like, yeah.
Wasn't he like in a punk band and he has like
Yeah.
a kid from some Asian woman?
He has a kid from.
yeah.
Well, they were bandmates.
Okay, they're
And they were
bandmates.
together.
Yeah.
And
A
he
lot of
had a
information.
child with her. And yeah.
Why does
Yeah.
this all exist? Why does all that?
He
information
looks like he
exist?
was in like in a punk band.
Oh, yeah, I know.
he's seen crazy nights.
Dude.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like totally the type of guy I would date it in
I
high
remember
school.
you telling me that. Like,
I was
I would have
like, I'd
dated
be
him.
Yeah,
all
me
over
too.
his nuts in
I don't
high
know,
school.
not really.
Oh,
Like,
Wait, who's nuts?
anyway,
Jonathan's.
Oh.
Jonathan.
It's because she liked those skinny emo boys.
Nuts
You got it.
Yeah.
Nuts deep.
Balls deep.
I don't know.
like a
What do
candy
y'all
bar.
think? What's going to
Yeah,
happen?
where's it gonna go?
Yeah, where's it going to go from
90s.
Well,
Okay,
you
I
guys-
must admit, because I wanted to put on my makeup before the show started, I didn't get to see the last 20 minutes.
Okay.
But I saw after, I know what happened to Billy and Hopper.
Right.
So
So what happens is like Joyce, along with Will and Jonathan,
They move.
they move away, and Elle. They take Elle with
Oh,
them.
that was sad.
So, right,
She's
technically
an
she's
orphan
not
now,
orphan.
yeah.
And I heard there's a letter, like
There's a
Hopper
letter.
leaves her a letter or something.
So what happens is, the speech that Joyce helped him write, he had it in his pocket. So Joyce gives it to Elle, and she reads it.
sad
It's so
now.
sad.
so sad.
You're gonna cry,
So
Caitlin.
sad.
It was really, really
It's
sad.
very
God.
sad.
Yeah.
And Elle doesn't have her powers anymore.
Yeah. Currently, she doesn't, but
Oh, after she got bitten, she couldn't do it
yeah.
anymore.
But
Yeah.
Mike says
good.
like, "Don't
They'll-
worry, like
they'll-
you'll get
they'll
the
come
baggage
back, yeah,
somehow."
Yeah. So we're left in
Okay.
an interesting space,
Yeah.
an
Okay,
interesting place
interesting.
for season 4. Whenever they get around to
I
that.
think Hopper's coming back.
Of course he is.
As
Because
hope
they didn't
not.
find his body.
Wasn't
You know
there
what
a
I mean? Like,
Oh, what if he gets teleported to the other
That's
side?
right.
I
He
think
gets
he's
sucked
in
out?
the
a crack
upside
in the
He's on the other
gate?
side. He goes
There
through
was
the
a
gate.
crack in
Yeah,
the gate.
there's no
Yeah,
body.
yeah,
He
yeah.
gets zapped in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike the other
Possibility.
Russian guy, the Terminator dude that he shoved his face in and like
Yeah.
exploded
Oh
on
yeah,
the thing.
Yeah.
he like
Blood and
gibleted.
guts
It was amazing.
completed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giblets.
Anybody else see that
Giblets.
gate looked like a badge?
Just you,
Sorry.
man.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
wanna
you.
throw that in there.
We're gonna go
Just
there.
you.
Badgegate.
Look, everything that was ever given birth to
Badgegate.
came out of a vag. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean?
That is
So
true.
you want to give birth to monsters, you got to open up a vag in the wall.
Lint 324. The mention of the American in the Russian jail.
The mention.
Oh, that's at the very end. Yeah, at
Oh,
the
I
very
missed
end
it.
credit.
Okay.
In the very end
right.
credits, they go to the Russian
Yeah.
jail, and there's Americans in there for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know what that's going to play. It's a very Marvel esque
Who
play.
would it be?
I don't know. I've never even thought about it. It could be Hopper. Yeah, that could be
It
Hopper.
could be Murray.
Not because he.
Did it say American or Americans? Like,
Americans. He says
Okay,
not the
so
Americans
several.
because they're like, they're
Yeah.
feeding him to the Demogorgon.
yeah.
Oh,
So
snap!
and then he.
I don't
whoever
think
the
it's
Russian
Hopper.
goes.
It must
Yeah,
be just some other people.
could be Hopper. Could not be Hopper. Well,
Wait, so Billy's dead? Like
Billy
he's
is dead,
gone?
dead.
Billy is dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
so cute.
Oh God, I can't believe you feel like more for Billy than for Steve. I feel like Steve redeemed himself, but Billy.
No, because
Just
Billy
an
is just like
asshat.
true evil, but we saw a glimpse into his past,
Yeah,
and it was sad.
he's still an asshole.
He's still.
Well,
an
I don't,
asshole.
I don't
That's-
dislike Steve anymore,
Oh,
but
there's
like,
Alexi. Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh, poor Alexi.
oh, right before he
Oh.
died.
Right before he died.
Right before he died.
Gosh,
Sorry.
he was
And
so
got
happy.
his
Real,
strawberry.
real quick, I have
Slurpee.
I have a question.
Yeah.
and it goes back to the song.
Okay.
The never-ending story.
Yeah,
Right.
So when that song came
So
on, I'll tell you my
unnecessary.
experience of that. When that,
Oh,
when that
unnecessary
part came
but
on,
beautiful.
and
I loved it.
I'm not kidding you. Like I had the biggest geekiest grin.
Oh, so did I, man.
on
I loved
So,
it.
so my question is this.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that is literally
That's
calling
from the
back
movie,
to
right?
our
Never-ending story.
to our childhood.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So is that because like it called back to our childhood and it really just
is-
loved it?
Yeah.
Because
I
of
think-
that, or because
I think-
it's a difference for you guys, right?
Okay,
It's
I'm putting my.
absolutely-
Okay, I'm
right.
gonna put. Okay, if I pretended instead of never-ending story, it was. And we go on together, like from Land Before
From
Time.
Land Before Time, yeah.
So that's
I
the
s-
equivalent.
Yeah, or the
or Sailor Moon.
somewhere out there.
right, somewhere out
beneath
there.
the pale
Yeah. Some
moonlight.
other Don Bluth.
Some other
sad
Don
story.
Bluth shit.
Yeah.
Okay, if they had done that instead, I still would have been like, "What the fuck is going
Really?
on?"
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I've been like, "What's going on?"
I was still. I watched it and I was like, "What the fuck?"
and then you just went with it.
But afterward, yeah, exactly. I wanted to.
Ah, see, they got you.
It was. Yeah, it was good enough where I was just like, "Okay, I will accept this."
See, I don't
Yeah.
really know that song, so
Right.
I was like, "Is this from the Never-Ending Story?"
Right.
Oh
yeah.
God!
It's absolutely from the
Yeah.
I would argue that Never-Ending Story, that song is more iconic than either of the other two.
Sure,
that you
I'm sure it
True.
is. I'm sure it
Yeah.
is.
Actually,
Yeah.
somewhere out there it still brings it.
Well,
to
actually,
mind.
yeah.
I have that on 45.
You really?
I do.
Really? That was the first song I learned to sing.
Oh shoot!
I think the
Well,
first
there
one
you
I
go.
learned was Somewhere Out There. That one.
Yeah, that's what we're talking
Oh, that's what we're talking about. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
sorry,
first song.
sorry. Dude, we should do it for karaoke someday.
Oh, God.
We
Time
always
out.
We're trying to
check.
find it. They don't have
And
it.
they never
Yeah.
have it. I
Someday.
know.
Yeah.
No time like the present.
Yeah.
So,
Right now,
I
ready
used
to
to
go.
think
Right
it was the beneath the
Sample.
pear moonlight, like the
moonlight.
light moonlight was like made of
Moon's gonna
pear,
turn
like
pear
there's like a
shaped.
pear-shaped moon,
right,
Wow.
right.
but it's pale moonlight. Yeah.
It's pale moonlight.
Ready? Go.
Somewhere out there, beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me and missing me tonight.
Somewhere out there, someone singing a prayer that we'll find one another in that big somewhere out there.
Okay, we did it too, you guys. We also usurped
Yeah,
our
I
programming with a song. Are you happy now? Did this
I
add to
know.
the plot?
See? Watch.
Case in
Watch,
point.
everybody
This
can
is gonna
do
be
that.
the most viewed episode.
Dude,
Watch.
I tried to
Check
harmonize,
this shit
but I
out.
just freaking killed it. I'm sorry, man.
No,
I tried.
that's
I
all
tried.
It's hard when there's not the backing. It's like where's,
Rodney's happy.
I know. Literally, first song I learned how to sing on -1. So,
Aww, -1. Do people
Yeah.
still call it that?
-1.
Well, back then it was
Oh,
called
I used to call it
-1.
-1 too.
Right, right,
yeah,
right.
but I don't know if people still call it that. Yeah.
No, now it's just
Now it's just
karaoke.
the instrumental, yeah.
The instrumental, the backing track. So yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'm still gonna be excited about season 4 when it comes around, just because
Yeah.
I still do
I'll
love
still
the
watch
characters.
it.
Yeah.
The actors are so incredible. I just
They really
really
are.
hope they like crack down on the pacing next time.
Yeah.
You know
Me
what
too.
I mean?
Characterization.
Like I
Right.
just felt like I was like really like I felt like I was on this roller coaster that
Yeah.
like there was like a gear missing, and so it was like,
Like, what's
the whole time, and I'm like, oh my god, I hope I don't die.
right.
You know?
Where's this going?
yeah.
Where's this going?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
This is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I have high hopes for the next one. I think that I feel like they're going to pull it together. I don't know. I'm just
There's,
very
I,
optimistic
I
about
think
it.
I read there's supposed to be 5 seasons total. That's what
5
the
seasons.
Duffer Brothers plan on 5 seasons total.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
They're not going to be kids anymore.
Right.
I mean, they'll be kids. They'll be older kids.
They'll be
Will be-
teens.
They'll
Yeah,
be. I think by the
adolescents.
time they finish, they'll be like closer to Nancy and Jonathan's age when it started.
Oh, what
Yeah.
a trip. It's
Yeah.
going to
Oh
be
my
like Game
God.
of Thrones, watching those kids grow up.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, moving on.
All right. So, yeah. Next, we have all the stuff that has come out during SDCC. Caitlin, I mean, you have all that stuff.
Do I though?
Yeah.
Do I though? Rodney said I could hand it off to you guys. God damn it. Okay. Says here, The Expanse season 4, Caitlin. And because Caitlin was watching Stranger Things, who watched The Expanse season 4 trailer?
I
Let's
did.
hand it off.
So-
All right, Errol, tell us about it.
The Expanse season 4 trailer looks super amazing. I mean, I think I'm kind of I'm biased in that like I'm super invested in what's going to happen because the cliffhanger that ends ends season 3 is really it's about there's like optimism, but there's this air of possibility that kind of it permeates the end of season 3. So I'm super looking forward to what's going to happen. Unfortunately, it looks like there's going to be further just troubles and a lot of stuff it's going to happen that's adverse to living in space in season 4. But I'm happy to see that. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. And we see a little bit of the crew of the Rocinante. Everybody looks a little different. There's a little bit of Avasarala. She pops in the trailer a little bit. So we see Bobby. We see the full cast of characters, and I'm just excited to see what happens with it. So we don't see very much. It's very much a teaser trailer, and you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it's there to create hype, and it definitely hyped me up. So
I still got to watch this show.
I haven't seen the
I've been
show.
hearing. So you guys haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I've been hearing
gonna watch
hype.
it too,
Can you
though.
like
Yeah.
a quick like?
It's
Yeah, like
literally
synopsis.
It's
Synopsis
Game of
of what
Thrones
it's
in
about, yeah.
space.
I knew it.
Oh,
I was
shit.
going to ask. I'm like, is it like a sci-fi Game of
actually-
Thrones?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Okay,
the
I'm ready.
setting for
I'm ready.
I'm going to warn you
So like
that
Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
yeah, Yeah, kind of.
So it's like
It's an
different
anime,
factions
yeah.
and shit like that. And
Yeah,
alien
exactly.
races. And
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
everybody hates each other.
I'm going to say that the first season is a little slow to start.
Okay.
And I was fine with it, but I know a lot of people had problems with it. But the kind of the bare breakdown of the situation is this is maybe 50 years. I can't remember exact dates. I always forget these. 400 years? 200 to 300
In the
years.
future.
It's relative near future.
Okay.
Humanity has broken into 3 different factions.
Okay.
There's the Earth faction, there's the MCRN that inhabits Mars, and then there's the Belters that live in the asteroid belt on several colonies.
Oh, wow.
And these 3 factions they've got a kind of Cold War going on.
Oh.
So it's all about that contention. It's about people pulling for power. Like
It's like Saga.
yeah, it's like that.
Okay.
And an enemy or an alien presence injects itself into this situation. And then you see these 3 factions try to vie for power over
Oh,
it.
wow.
That's cool.
So are these based off of books?
These are based off of books. We have them right behind us, actually.
Okay.
The Expanse
So,
book.
yeah.
And what is this on? It's not Netflix or anything. What is it?
It was originally on Sci-Fi.
Okay.
And then it got canceled on Sci-Fi, and Amazon picked it up.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
Amazon 4 season 4 is going to be primarily on Amazon Prime.
What do you think
Nice.
makes it so good? Like, why should I care about this show?
Well, the thing is,
and Game of Thrones in space.
they're very good at this. That they create these characters that you care for.
Good.
Good.
Okay.
So-
then I'm
Okay.
sold. I want to watch
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
Very much like, and your allegiances will switch.
Oh, so it's like Game of Thrones.
I like
I like
it.
that. Yeah.
So, like at the very beginning, I was like, Holden, and I hated, another character.
and then you switch.
And then I
great. Now
switched.
I
Oh,
expect that.
shit.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm gonna start looking for it
La, la, la.
now.
Okay.
But all right,
Okay,
that's
no,
all
no,
I
no,
should
okay.
Well, I'm
say.
excited. We should watch
cool,
it
cool.
along with that Lord of the Rings marathon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Extended version.
Extended.
How many other movies did we say we're gonna watch?
All of them. Every movie.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna watch
We're
every
gonna
movie.
watch
Yeah.
Conan.
Conan.
Conan the
Kids.
Barbarian.
Expanse is,
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely should cover it. I've told you guys this many times. I've read all the books. I've watched all those
Right.
shows.
How many
and it's
books are
like,
there, Rodney?
There's like 7 right now.
And it's a finished
It's supposed to
series?
be like 9. I think no, actually the 8th one just came out, and it's supposed to be 9. So
I
there's
hope
more
the
to
show
go.
doesn't catch up to the
Well,
books.
I don't think so. But the thing is, like there's 2 authors, so
Oh.
they're actually been releasing them at least once a year.
So if one's
Some
lazy,
of them, yeah. it's
the
pretty,
other
it's pretty
one
amazing.
covers ass.
And
Okay,
it's
gotcha.
like it's very much it's the best sci-fi TV series since Battlestar Galactica. And if
A lot of people
Battlestar
make that
Galactica
comparison.
is considered like one of the classic, sci-fi TV shows.
Wow.
Wow.
And it's just
Yes.
it's just really good.
It's very much like a non-utopian like Star Trek.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of characters that you actually care about. except
Okay, you guys are
things
hyping it up
far.
way
So
too
Star
much.
Trek,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
edgelord.
Yeah,
Way down.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Okay.
but you don't need
Alright.
them.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Sorry.
Lint324 suggested that we watch Cool as Ice.
What's
Also,
What's that?
the Vanilla Ice movie.
God damn.
Oh, what does that have to do with it?
No, because we said we were watching everything.
Oh, okay. I was like, what does that have to do with Expanse?
Okay,
Okay.
watching everything in
Put
the
that
world.
on the
Yeah.
list.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna watch that.
Cool as ice.
But yeah, Expanse season 4 is coming out. HBO, the panel, they announced a lot of cool stuff. So Watchmen, Westworld Series 3, and His Dark Materials. Did anybody watch those trailers?
Yeah.
Trailers?
Not the new. Oh, you did. Okay, go. I was going to say, I did not watch the newest trailer. Yeah.
It seems like HBO has 2 streaming services, right? Now, HBO Now, HBO Go. And
Are they
Isn't it the
different?
same? It's the
Oh
same.
no!
thing.
Well,
It's the same
one you
programming.
need a cable subscription, and the
Oh.
other
That
one
one
is
Go
is
is
the
Go.
other
Go.
Go.
And the other
Now
one's
is
a
like
standalone.
streaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
Now
like
they
the
have
same
it.
content
They have
though?
another one
Yeah.
coming out.
Oh, okay.
Really?
HBO Max.
What's
I guess
that?
it's coming out.
What's that?
I think it's gonna be another standalone, but it's gonna have different content.
Oh,
Like more content? Because that sounds like
Yeah.
more content.
Why
It's gonna-
more to pay for?
interesting.
I think
Yes.
it's the Warner.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the
right.
Warner library. So like eventually,
Oh.
like
Interesting.
Friends is gonna be on
Friends
there.
and
Wait.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yeah.
So like when we say the Warner library, is this also the stuff like the DC stuff?
There's speculation that some of the DC stuff will be on there.
Oh man, so what's going to happen to
so
DCU?
I don't know what DCU.
Right.
Yeah, it's.
Interesting.
I mean, that's sweet. I think that's a bigger picture story because it's like
Right.
a bunch of different like streaming stuff. But these things that they announced at SDCC, they're all going to be on HBO.
Right.
So
On regular HBO.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, so Watchmen.
That looks super cool.
I am pretty stoked for Watchmen, actually. So, like, I guess like we've peached together. We've peached together a marmalade of predictions. in that,
yummy.
Marmalade's
You
my
know,
favorite.
it seems as if it's set as a sequel, right, to the actual
Definitely,
Watchmen
yeah, it seems
movie.
like a sequel.
Because
Or
like
the-
How close
specifically
is
the comic,
graphic
though?
novel to the film? Is it like
to the original
it's a
movie,
little different.
it's a little different. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like the first half, the movie itself, like the previous movie that came out, I feel like suffers from Fight Club syndrome, in that the first half is
Right.
like totally on book, on par with everything,
And then it just
and then
kinda
it
just
kind of
goes crazy.
derails from
Yeah, it totally derails. Like the reason why, like
Yeah.
the
Spoilers. I haven't finished
right.
Fight Club.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's not
okay,
really-
you're talking about
yeah,
Watchmen.
we're
Okay,
Watchmen.
But yeah, I mean, like it seems like this series picks up where like the other thing left off. Like Rorschach is not in the picture anymore,
Right.
but his materials were probably
Passed
proliferated.
on, yeah.
And now there's this whole cult of Rorschach that like puts on his mask and like does
It's-
like urban
Right,
terror.
exactly.
It seems
his
like
name.
what I read was like the government sort of like like they said like, okay, no more vigilantes, no more superheroes like that.
No
You guys are too
more
violent.
mutants.
Yeah.
Get out of here. But I guess in the trailer they say that they're hibernating. So I guess there's like this uprising or this like
Yeah.
revolution. All the superheroes and vigilantes are
Right.
Totally.
They come
Or
out
like-
of hiding.
right.
Yeah.
And they're getting rid of the policemen in order to like be like, okay, without policemen, they're gonna who else are they gonna call on? So
Right,
Mm.
right.
yeah.
And that's why, like, Dr. Manhattan, like, they said something about, like, him be on Mars.
Right.
And the very last image is, like, him picking up, like, a mask
Right.
of Dr. Manhattan, but you see
Yeah.
the blue hand,
Yeah,
and it's like,
like-
he's returned, you know?
And then you have Ozymandias saying this is just the beginning. So-
Right, right. What I love about the Watchmen series is that it does what I feel like the Witcher franchise does, which is introduce an anti-hero in what is usually, like, a hero versus villain, like, melodrama.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like the introduction of Watchmen and Witcher like gives you anti-heroes to root for that are
Gotcha.
both black and white. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's like dark sides to every hero and there are good sides
yin
to
and yang.
sometimes to villains.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
And
really,
there's this
really
large
cool.
gray area in between. as well.
There
Very
is
much
more
so.
of a trend towards that in storytelling nowadays,
Absolutely.
as opposed to the black
Absolutely.
and white type of, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, even Harry Potter at times.
Totally.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
People
Steves
are
and Billies
complex.
everywhere.
And there's Steve's
Steve's
and
and
Billies,
Stillies.
Anti-heroes, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
'Cause they're
There's Jamie Lannister.
true neutral,
Yeah.
chaotic neutrals.
Yes.
yeah, all
Everything
that.
we need to know we learned from D&D.
Yes.
Everything can be broken down into numbers, just like
Yeah.
D&D. Westworld season 3, that looks kind of interesting. I haven't watched season 2 though, so I don't know.
I only saw the first episode of season 2. But when we saw the season 3 trailer, I kept questioning, like, is this Westworld? Guys, this isn't Westworld. This is some other show.
It's like extra futuristic
Yeah,
looking.
it just
Right.
isn't. I didn't see any of the same characters.
Well, Dolores was in there.
Oh,
Well,
okay. Then I missed it.
Dolores
I
and
saw like an
Maeve.
early teaser.
Yeah, Maeve was in there.
Okay, then
Yeah.
I missed.
Yeah.
I missed the
Some
new one.
Bernard.
Bernard.
But is it just me, or is it like they're not in Westworld anymore?
No.
they're
It doesn't
in,
look like they are.
Which I'm not opposed to.
Right, right.
I just kind of found it jarring. I was like, oh, we're not in Westworld anymore.
I was thinking maybe like, what if this futuristic city is like another theme? Because like, because
it's another
here's the thing.
could be,
Westworld.
Because
right?
in the trailer, there's also a. It seems to be a World War II themed park.
Right, right.
Where Maeve was in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like,
In
okay,
the new trailer?
So is this like
In the new trailer,
Okay.
yeah.
has the park expanded to include other worlds like Disneyland? There's
well,
like,
there was that Shogun World, right? It was like
In
a
season
Japanese
2,
in
right.
season 2. So maybe there are more.
Maybe.
yeah. And it sort of hints at like robots and humans coexisting in the same world.
Right.
Oh shit.
That's what it's made to look. But what if that was actually another? It's
You know-
Tomorrowland. You know?
Right.
Now that you bring that up, it's making me think about like Hunger Games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Hunger Games like 1 and 2, like the films took place inside the games in the same way that like Westworld is an inner like
A
immersive
self-contained,
world.
Oh, and the
Right.
third
Right.
and fourth were like
but in the
outside
third
games.
movie, like what are they going to do now that they're breaking out of
Yes.
that, you know?
Yeah.
There were no
So-
Hunger Games in the third and fourth films, right?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, but it was still called Hunger Games.
Well,
You know.
did you
Still hungry?
see season 2 Westworld?
No,
Arnold?
no.
Okay,
I saw it.
But so you're the only one who's seen it,
I've seen all of it. Yeah,
and you were not the biggest fan.
I didn't really like season 2.
Okay. Do you have high hopes for this next season? Do you think maybe no? Okay.
Really?
Gosh, give it
Straight up.
a chance.
This is
Jen.
gonna
I mean,
suck.
I'll watch some of it.
You
I'll
said that
see where
about
it
other
goes.
trailers, and you ended up liking things, right?
Yeah, no,
Like-
I mean, like,
I mean, I
Let's-
shat on Toy
let's
Story
wait- let's
4,
wait.
and I
Oh,
loved
exactly.
it. I loved
Me
it.
too, right,
Loved
exactly.
it. Wow.
yeah, no, I mean,
Shat.
I'll watch it to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
if my opinion changes,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
for
I really loved season 1.
Oh, season 1 was
It was
like
a
perfect
masterpiece.
masterpiece. I will say
Yeah.
it was a masterpiece.
I
yeah.
loved it.
They could have just
Season
ended it.
2. Anyway,
Earl just shrugged.
I was okay with it.
Season 1?
Yeah, yeah.
Season 1 was so good. Are
I
you
think
serious?
I think it was I think I watched too much sci-fi.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah,
See.
and I was like, I know what's gonna happen here, and I
Really?
called everything.
Oh,
so,
no.
Really? You
Yeah, yeah.
knew what was going to happen?
I
Yeah,
felt
I'm
like
not
jolted
surprised.
at every
Right.
turn.
Just kidding.
You knew that Bernard was going to
Yeah,
be.
I called
Really?
it. I was like, I knew this. Yeah,
You knew that the man in the black hat was.
that's only one.
Old
That took me a
William.
little longer.
That
to figure
there was
it out.
multiple timelines.
Right. Yeah.
Some dude online like published a theory, and then everybody was on board with it.
Right.
Yeah. For me, this was around the time where I feel like Game of Thrones was starting to go downhill.
It was.
So I
It really
latched, I
was.
latched
Yeah,
onto
yeah, yeah.
Westworld. I'm like,
Right.
there's still good
Okay.
TV in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was
And
bad.
Stranger Things 1 came out that year too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying by far. I'm not saying that Westworld was bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it didn't blow my mind like a lot of people.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm not as advanced as you, Earl. It blew my mind.
I guess like as far as plot goes, like I didn't necessarily look for those plot revelations.
Right.
Yeah,
so
because
Right.
I'm not used to
that
sci-fi.
wasn't what I was
Yeah.
getting off on. It was more so like the philosophical aspect
Yes!
and the amazing character
The
work.
bicameral chamber, like
Yeah.
so good.
So good. And the interactions with the androids were like very Olympic status acting, you know. I loved that.
Acting was great. Yeah.
Maeve, like her character just growing some balls.
Anthony
Anthony
was awesome in it.
Hopkins.
He's aight.
Yeah.
I
He's
think-
I. You know who was I? Tessa Thompson.
Oh.
Damn.
I didn't like her
Damn.
acting.
Valkyrie?
Sick
I
bird.
usually like her acting.
She cute, though.
She's gorgeous,
cute,
but
though.
I wasn't feeling her acting.
Her character was a little underwritten though in
It
the
was.
series.
I don't know
guess.
exactly what
I
she
think
was.
she does
there.
really well.
She
but
usually
her-
does
Right.
great.
Yeah.
I don't know what she was doing in this
Right.
show. She was doing some weird acting thing.
I will say that
She's
season
gonna have
2.
a big part of season 3, right?
She's still in it?
Seems
Yeah,
like
she
it,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
she's a
in the
huge
trailer.
part. Mhm.
Seems like she's taking over.
Yeah.
Okay. anyway.
My
Yeah,
my
sorry.
favorite quote from season 2 is when like Anthony Hopkins in some in some way, shape, or form, I'm not going
a
to spoil for you
flashback.
in what way, but he says the last analog device on Earth is the human mind.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah.
so Anthony.
Say it again.
Analog.
Say it again,
I
Anthony.
guess so. It's also very binary,
Oh, what do you mean?
like the way just neurons work in general, because everything's an on and off switch in the neuron.
Right, so it's still an analog device.
No,
right?
it's digital. I mean, well,
You think it's digital?
Oh, as opposed
You
to
think that-
analog.
Okay, we're gonna talk about this.
both
Yeah,
have
yeah.
I
on-off
love
switches.
this shit, so we're gonna talk about this.
The human
right.
brain is binary as opposed to analog, is what you're saying.
yeah, yeah.
Binary as in digital.
Sorry, digital.
It's very
as in,
much a digital device. If you break it all the way
Okay.
down, it's very
Oh, so
it's either
like
on and
Off and
off, on or
Off and
off.
on.
Everything is an
as
electrical
opposed
signal.
to
0, 1, 0, 1, 0.
as opposed to analog, which is not on and off.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We're gonna have to talk about this
we'll,
more
We'll talk
later.
about it.
Okay.
I mean, if
I'm trying to sound smarter than I actually am.
Fucking,
okay.
fucking nerds over here.
It's that's not 100%. It's just I think there can be made.
Well,
case
Earl
can be
said
made.
it, so it must be true.
Nah, he's an idiot. So his Dark Materials is the next thing we're talking about. Did you all? I saw this trailer maybe a few days ago. I didn't get a good look at it.
saw it
I've only
to-
seen the teasers
today.
so-
Right.
Yeah.
About it looks cool. Again, this is a retelling, or it's a kind of. It's another remake of The Golden Compass, which was made into a movie several years ago.
The series is still called His Dark Materials,
Right,
but the
right.
first book and movie is the Golden Compass. Yeah.
I mean, it looks cool. The polar bear looks pretty awesome. And this is going to be available on HBO Go. So or
When's it
HBO.
coming out?
I don't know exactly.
I'm excited.
In the fall.
I need to finish
No.
the books. I didn't finish
This fall.
Have you
didn't-
read them?
I haven't read them.
So, okay, this is a true story. I blush to tell it. But back when I was still at Christian school, when I was like 17, I read the first book and I was into it. And then at a certain point, I was like, oh, I feel like this is kind of sacrilegious because it
Right,
is.
it
It's
is.
it's written by a well-known atheist, Philip
Right.
Pullman, who is like basically. Their mission is for the children to kill God, like literally to kill
my
God.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh, wow.
spoilers.
That's
but
what the story's about, right?
the villains are basically the Catholic
Villains?
Church. The villains are like the Catholic Church.
I
They're-
already like this.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they're trying to take down basically the Catholic Church.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a huge analogy for the Catholic
already
Church,
like this.
and
Wow.
it's anti-religion.
Right.
And my best friend, who at the time was very religious, she read all the books and she loved them, but she
Right.
warned me. She's like, "It's pretty sacrilegious." So I was reading it because the movie was coming out, and I was like, I feel kind of bad. So I kind of gave up.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I feel bad because it's anti-God, and I stopped. Yeah, but I'd read them now.
Is-
Let's
so
just say
is
that.
it-
Yeah.
What would you say the age range is? Is it very
Kids,
like
you
Harry
could-
Potter
you-
or like younger? Or about that?
There's some stuff. There's some like I guess you could say like frightening imagery.
Right.
So I wouldn't say as young as the first Harry Potter books. You know, like an 8-9-year-old could read those.
Right.
Maybe like 11, 12 and up.
Okay.
Like I said, there's still some frightening imagery.
Pottery. Yeah.
As far as I remember,
PG-13.
yeah.
or even as far as that, even as far as PG-13, but
Okay.
but not it's not like radar or anything like that.
Gotcha.
But it is HBO, so we don't know what they're gonna
Right.
do.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah,
my
so
James
they might
McAvoy,
make it.
too.
They might.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they might make it bloody.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm down
wow.
for it.
Yeah.
Always down for
Anyway.
it.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where like when you read it, like it could be in a way that's not as disturbing, but if you see it, it could be disturbing. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
So more trailers that got released during SDCC. Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. Jen.
So like we're going into the Netflix panel, right? So under Netflix we have Dark Crystal and we have The Witcher. Woo!
Which we watched like over and over in
I've
San Diego.
seen that trailer like 5 times.
Yeah,
Right.
it's so good.
But anyway, so starting with the Dark Crystal first, though, did we all see that?
I did.
The teaser.
The teaser?
Oh yeah. The featurette thing.
The featurette
I
thing,
didn't see
yeah.
it.
Well, I mean, it was clearly hyping up like the craftsmanship
Oh,
of the
okay. Yeah,
puppetry.
it looks
Right.
epic.
Everything was handcrafted, and then we want everything to look as if like people forget that these are puppets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems like all of the backgrounds are green screen, but the puppets themselves are like
Yeah. And everyone and their
puppeted.
mama's in it,
Retro
right?
puppeted.
It's like star-studded cast. Like
Star-studded.
Super Star
everyone
cast,
is
yeah.
in it.
I
Yeah.
remember like we went over that.
Like
those casting meetings,
everyone
everybody-
and like Aquafina. Then again, Aquafina's in everything.
Right.
She's
Yeah.
gonna be in the Little Mermaid for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah,
She's
she is.
Scuttle, really?
She's it like
She's Scuttle?
yeah, she's gonna be Scuttle.
we literally
funny?
we went over that casting like there was that Facebook post that like posted everybody
Yeah.
and it's more star-studded than the upcoming Dune series movie, so that
Yeah.
that's quite a
Why? Who
that's,
else is in Dune? There's like Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, some others. So,
Okay.
yeah, a lot of people.
oh.
But yeah, it looks cool.
Sounds
So when's
expensive.
Dark Crystal coming out?
I think
we-
August.
Oh,
Yeah.
shall we see it
Oh, it's already
together?
Yes. Let's
It's
watch.
already
That's right. We're
July.
supposed to watch the OG, right?
We're gonna watch the
It's
OG.
almost
yeah.
August.
yeah.
It's late July now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
Birthday.
How-
Oh, tomorrow's my birthday.
Yay!
Happy
Happy birthday,
birthday,
Jen!
Yay.
In,
Everybody wish Jen happy
in
birthday.
yeah, in like 3
She's
hours.
gonna be
2
21.
hours. In two
That's what
2 hours and
Wink.
20 minutes.
Wink.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. God damn. It's 9:40.
Anyway.
Sorry, should we wrap this up?
So,
No, go
Let's
anyway,
zoom through these.
The Witcher
go.
trailer. Oh my God, one of my favorite video game series of all time.
Wait, your favorite franchise according to our last game, right? You said The
favorite-
Witcher. You said The Witcher was your favorite franchise of all time.
Favorite friend.
Remember we played the game? Yeah.
Oh,
Wasn't it?
I said favorite fandoms.
Oh,
right?
sorry. Same shit.
Yeah.
Fandom, right? Oh wait, not same shit.
No, and I said Dragon Age for that.
Fuck. Just kidding. I have a bad memory.
Was that your game?
Yeah, that was,
It was-
no,
it
it
was
was my
Jen's
game.
game, yeah.
It was my game. But anyway, so the Witcher trailer features a younger Geralt, right, played by Henry Cavill, in a very, very young series. So you know for sure this does not take place during the time of the games, or needless to say, not during the time of the third game. This is probably the prequel happening around like 15 years before Witcher 3, the game. So then they also released like news that the series is not going to follow the video game. It's going to follow the books by the original Polish writer. And
Jen, can you give like
yeah.
a quick synopsis? Because like
Yeah, sure. Of the Witcher series. So
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Witcher is a mercenary monster fighting bounty hunter.
Okay.
You know, so in this world, everything is really dark and bleak because the world is overrun by monsters.
Okay.
And all these villages are plagued by werewolves, you know, vampires, leshens, all these like mythic monsters of Polish folklore plague people in these towns, and you have to hire a witcher to come slay these monsters. That's why they usually
sexy.
Yeah, they usually carry two swords. One is
Okay.
silver for defeating monsters, and one is steel for defeating
what
humans.
makes them witchers?
They
Or-
undergo a series of
Okay.
mutations and training at their school.
What do you mean mutations? Like
They drink like mutagens to warp their genetic
They're
material.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
wait. So are they like born witchers, or are you just
No.
chosen to train as a witcher? and
you train
become-
as witchers.
It's like being a knight
more
or
often than
something.
not, like it's almost like not everybody undergoes and survives the training.
So it's
Okay.
very difficult to become
very
a witcher.
very difficult to
Right.
become a witcher.
He's got like a whip of some kind, right? It's like a glowing whip. Am I thinking of the wrong one?
I have no idea.
I
That's
saw
like
he was
Indiana
holding
Jones.
something. No, he was it's like a chain.
Oh,
Castlevania?
maybe because he was trying to rope the.
Okay, yeah.
thing
Anyways,
out. Anyway, so
Bionic
like
Commando.
Geralt of Rivia is one particular witcher who is very very famous, and he's also an anti-hero. He's not like really great person or really bad person, you know. He's like
Okay.
also kind of a playboy, a man about town, but also like cares about underlings, and you can either side with the elves or not. And it's interesting that in this like trailer it's showing elves as primarily people of color, which in this world, in the Witcher world, elves are highly marginalized, and like
I wonder what they were
so
trying
I
to say
think
with
they're
that.
going for something.
They were like
Right.
black people, right? Or brown skin. Yeah.
like a lot of brown
Okay.
people are playing the elves.
Easterlings.
So we shall see.
Hardrim.
But anyway, so like in the world that it takes place in is highly political. You know, there's like people battling for the throne. There's a lot of like power trading hands. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, you
Right.
know. But The Witcher, because he's so powerful and he has the wherewithal to defeat monsters that could tip the scales, he gets pulled in all these different political directions. And of course, like he falls in love with a sorceress, and you know,
Ooh.
there are multiple sorceresses in love with him, and
because
sorcerers
he's such
are
a
also,
hottie. Such
Yeah.
a hot
Reminds
ticket.
me of someone.
Wow.
Arnold.
Billy
Drowning in
Bob.
pussy.
I was like, who?
Billy Bob Bailey.
Yeah. Billy Bob Balin.
He reminds you of Chris Evans? Me too.
Yeah. But I mean, what I love about this world is how like devoted it is to actual Polish mythology.
Right.
Like the Leshen you would never see anywhere else. It's based off an actual like deer, you know, mythology that you see in the forest, you know, or like even a night wraith, basically. A night wraith, which is a ghost that appears at night that takes the shape of a ghostly woman and like destroys men and like eats them or whatever. The one in the game is described as having formed because a woman who was going to secretly elope with somebody she loved was murdered by a jealous person who wanted to marry her the day before her wedding. And so in order to summon the night wraith, you have to take the knife that killed her and a
Okay.
letter between her and her loved one. Like the reason why she turns into a monster is because of real life things that happen.
Jeez.
So like monstrosity in this world is like such a real thing, you know? Like it's almost like an origin story for how things take place. Why is there disease? Oh, it's like a plague wraith or whatever, you know? Like, or why does this person have warts? Oh, it's because of this.
The war-
So a
Raven.
lot of like
You know.
the kind of like physical ailments or like natural world disasters in this world they
Yes.
can attribute to monsters.
Totally.
So-
You're seeing
That
visions,
explains
it. Yeah.
monsters. You're hearing things that, you know,
Right.
Monsters.
yeah, monsters.
Monsters.
Wait, I wish I could attribute that to all the problems in my life. Because then I don't have to
Monsters.
take personal responsibility. I could just be
I
like,
mean, you still can.
I could be like, I could like
fucking
just like kill
monsters.
people and be like, sorry guys,
Actually-
monsters made me
Monsters.
do it. Yeah.
Actually,
those-
no,
Those darn
though.
monsters.
Because
Actually,
like the thing with Geralt is that he actually, in order to, he knows so much like knowledge about monsters, but in order to like actually exorcise them, he teaches people what you have to do to get rid of the monster. Like for example, like in one of the games, Witcher 3, this man has like this demon like following him around that takes the shape of a little baby, and Geralt tells him this is like the demon that was formed from your unborn child who you were not able to love because you treated your wife
Wow.
badly. What you have to do is take the baby, bury him, tell him you like give them a name and apologize, and then bury them in the ground.
Dude, this is deep.
Yeah.
This is like a metaphor
So
for
that-
everyone's
so that
problems.
the demon can become a good spirit.
like the internal demons that we have in ourselves.
yeah.
Those are the monsters.
Yeah.
The monsters in my head.
Yeah.
Yo,
Okay.
me and Jen want to read the books actually because
Yeah,
they're
we're
based
gonna
off
go
a
back
book
and read the
a very
books.
popular Polish book series. So, sorry, we spent
Sounds
way
cool.
too long.
Anyway, sorry, but
Yeah.
thank
I have
you.
a question, Jen, real
Yes.
quick. We'll move on.
Now I
but,
get it.
so when the trailer posted, and I haven't played the games,
You have
when the trailer
not.
posted, like everybody was making these jokes, like there was the main character wasn't in a bathtub. What is that about?
Well, that's
they
like
were
the
saying,
first scene, right? In Witcher 3.
Because Geralt is like the playboy man about town. He's always like, naked and with women and whatever, blah 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 blah. They tried to tone this down in the third game, but like he's.
But
like,
when I played
notorious
The
for
Witcher
this.
3, the first scene was like some
Him in a
naked lady.
bathtub.
He was in
Yeah.
a bathtub and there was like a naked lady. I was like, what the
First
fuck?
scene?
Like
Yeah.
the first scene. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Arnold's
Guess
like,
I guess I'm playing this game.
I know.
it was like the first
So,
scene.
Yeah,
wish list.
not the
Yeah.
best. Anyway, but there is a scene actually in the newest trailer, but it's in the middle where he's like shirtless and he's in a tub. So Geralt
Really?
is
I
going to
didn't-
be in a
I
bath.
didn't
Trust
I mean,
me.
if you have Henry Cavill in a movie and he's not shirtless at some point,
yeah.
it's kind of a crime.
Oh,
It is. It is.
Agreed.
gosh.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill looking fine.
I know. Like,
Oh my god.
I'm not sure about his acting skills, but you know.
I just want him to do the bicep cock from
The what?
from Mission Impossible.
The bicep
There's a
cock.
scene in Mission Impossible, the latest one that came out, where he's in a fight and he goes whack whack. He cocks his biceps. It's ridiculous.
He cocks his bicep.
His biceps, like he
Oh.
does this, pa pa, like when he's going into a fight. It looks ridiculous.
I just heard.
It's hilarious. So.
Yeah.
What?
Gotcha.
Anyway.
So anyway, Marvel panel. This was kind of the big news at SDCC this past week. Marvel made its return to a Hall H, which is
A Hall H?
Yeah, to Hall H, or to Comic-Con in general, because they had previously reserved all their major announcements for their own convention, which is D23. So they came back to SDCC this past week, and lots of stuff going on for season, I should say phase 4 of their movies. Right. First of all, the biggest news for a lot of us, and this has come to a surprise. It was a surprise for a lot of people. They announced Shang-Chi, but they announced their casting for Shang-Chi, and it's Simu Liu,
Yeah.
which is people might know from Kim's Convenience. He was also in The Expanse, so he played he was a big player in The
yeah.
Expanse.
Dope.
Very small part. And even in that very small part, I was like, he was really good in it. Yeah. So the news comes, I know we had a lot of rumors. Lu Di Lin was like rumored, as was Louis Tan. But apparently this just came. He auditioned on a Sunday, and then they announced it on Tuesday. So
What?
super short time frame. Yeah.
Making dreams come true.
Yeah, I know.
I thought didn't something come out saying like it was going to be Ludi Lin and then like
Yeah.
Donnie Yen was going to
Yeah.
be in it. That had me fooled.
Wait,
like,
he
who
auditioned on a
populated that?
Sunday and they announced it on a Tuesday?
Yeah, at least
He
we're
must
looking
have
at the.
blew their socks
He's
off.
a great actor, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if
Did you know someone did like a screenshot from his Twitter back in like
Right.
December?
Oh, that's right.
And it was
Yeah,
like
I saw
Marvel
that.
come at me or
Like,
some
what's
shit.
up?
And they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
he put that into the universe,
did,
you know?
he absolutely did.
Amazing. Wow.
He put up another tweet like today, something about like I was just eating shrimp chips and
in
then,
my
like,
underwear. Yeah. And now I'm doing the
And
same
now
thing.
I'm
He
doing
made
the
it
same
sound
thing.
like he was already in talks or something like that. No,
Yeah.
he just put that into the universe.
Right.
totally.
I mean, that's great for him. I'm super happy for the guy.
Yeah.
I know we're talking about Lu Di Lin and then and Donnie Yen, but now it looks like it's Simu Liu
Simu
and
Liu.
Tony Leung.
Tony Leung, yeah.
Tony
Which I'm
Leung's in it?
still happy about.
Yeah,
I'm pretty happy
absolutely.
about it.
Aquafina's in there as well.
Yeah.
Aquafina as well.
God damn it. She's taking all my roles.
She
Aquafina,
really just
man.
admit it. You're just not as
Rock
cool
that
as
shit.
Aquafina.
Rock
I
it.
will
Jen.
let loose. Actually, I auditioned for the role in The Farewell.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
For hers?
Yeah, but of course.
They were always going to give it to
Awkwafina.
her. Yeah.
Awkwafina.
That's hard. I
Yeah.
know. A lot of times they do that just because they need to segue.
They need.
But
yeah.
y'all, Hollywood, there's more Asian women than just Aquafina.
Right. There are
okay?
more. There's a lot more talent.
This is her
There,
time.
there are other Chinese actresses whose names sound like Jennifer Zhang. You know, like You know, like just saying.
Lots
girl.
of stuff, but yeah, super excited for that. We'll see what happens there. And I was just informed earlier by Rodney that the director for Shang-Chi has a new movie come out that already has like Oscar buzz. So
shit.
we'll see where this goes.
Wait, which one is that?
I forgot what it's called. Yeah, if we can look, we'll
Wait,
look it up.
which director?
The director for Shang-Chi.
Oh, I have no
yeah,
idea.
Legend of the Ten Rings. So they also announced a release date for the Eternals. Some concept art for that is on course. We had several names that were attached to that, including Angelina Jolie and somebody else. But it's happening. Release date
Nanjiani,
of
isn't it?
Camille Nanjiani in Eternals.
Yeah.
Right. So Camille Nanjiani. Who else? Salma Hayek. Richard Madden. So a lot of
Don Lee.
names.
Richard, my
And,
boyfriend.
It has a release
Stop.
date for November 6th, 2020. So that's not too far in the future, but that looks cool. They announced Doctor Strange 2, which is called The Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Which
Wow.
Multiverse.
So
Oh, yeah, that's right.
hopefully this will be the actual like acknowledgement of the multiverse in the Marvel universe, as opposed to like kind of the red herring that we got into Far From Home with
Man.
Jake Gyllenhaal's
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
Oh, Far From Home. Sorry.
Yeah, Far From Home. They also announced Thor 4: Love and Thunder. If there's
What kind of title is that?
it's an amazing
Great title.
title. It's so freaking
dumb.
80s.
Like their logo
Love
too.
and Thunder. It sounds
Love
like
and
a terrible
Thunder.
B-grade action 80s
I'm
film.
so on board. I'm
Don't
only-
let your nostalgia blind you,
no.
Earl.
It's not even the nostalgia. I'm only like if this was another director, I would be like, eh. But it's Taika Waititi. And
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
gonna
that
be
solves
funny.
everything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope so. But not only that, the big news that came out of this was that they're bringing back Jane Foster, and she's going to take over the mantle of
I
Thor.
heard.
She's gonna be
okay.
female
Yeah.
Thor.
Thank
Yeah.
Female
God
Thor.
she's coming back.
So that's, I mean,
Love
that is
Natalie.
a narrative arc that happened in the comic books. So we're going to
Gotcha.
see that on the screen.
Cool.
What did
Jane
you say?
Foster Thor.
There you go.
Yeah, Jane
Foster
Foster Thor, colloquially. So that's going to happen. They also showed a little bit of Black Widow. What they're going to be doing with that now that Black Widow is dead in the MCU. Spoilers.
It's gonna star David Arbor and Rachel Weisz as well.
Black Widow.
Those are both great actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel Weisz. God, need more of her.
Gosh, she's amazing.
She's still snatched.
Yeah.
The
Still
favorite,
snatched.
anyone? Anyway.
The
I
favorite
have
was
not seen
amazing.
that.
So good.
Go
Oh,
watch
you haven't
it.
seen the favorite?
No.
If you like Rachel Weisz, watch
That's
the
one.
favorite.
It was one of my
There we go.
favorite movies.
Add
It
that
was
to
my
the
favorite
list.
movie last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
The favorite.
I think I have it on DVD at home.
Oh.
You have the DVD
Unopened.
and you haven't seen it?
favorite was so
Yeah, because I mean, like screeners from. Like,
Oh, I
Saturday
see. I
and
see.
stuff, yeah,
Go
I've
watch
seen
it.
Special.
It's so good. So funny.
And this is kind of the big thing. This was the big announcement for me, actually, is the return of Blade.
Did we just bring this up?
Not Fantastic Four or
I mean, yeah. Did we talk about this?
Did we? I don't
Oh,
know.
we talked a little bit about it earlier.
We
did.
mentioned it in the beginning, but
Okay.
we didn't mention this
Like, oh,
particular
who's
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I always mess this name up.
Mahershala?
Mahershala Ali as a new Blade. So previously, Blade was Wesley Snipes' property, or he was one attached. But now, and after funny thing, after Wesley Snipes, it was actually Sticky Fingers from Onyx.
Oh, that's right.
For
What?
the TV
We talked
series.
about
Sticky
yeah.
Or was
Fingers?
it Sticky Fingers or was it? Well, not Fredro, right? Not
No, I think
Sticky
it was
Fingers,
Sticky
okay.
Fingers
Sorry.
from.
I'm getting my Onyx
Sticky Fingers.
Sticky
Onyx
fingers.
members mixed up.
Yeah, he played
Is a hip-hop
Blade
group from back
in
in
the
the
day.
freaking in the TV series. So now that's Mahershala Ali. That's gonna be awesome.
There's a new boo in town.
He's so
Yeah.
good
I don't know if
He's
they've.
great.
in everything.
Yeah, he
He is
really
great and
is. He's
everything.
great.
I don't know if they've attached like a director to it yet, but I don't know. I have a special place for Blade in my heart.
Mahershala.
In my heart.
In my heart.
Special
Petite
place
time.
for Blade in my heart.
So Scottish.
It's Irish.
Because
He's Irish.
it was one of the few comic book movies in the Dark Ages. So I kind of said that
Before,
earlier.
Yeah,
right?
you did.
Did we talk about that?
Oh, yeah, I
Deja
did.
vu.
I
Before it was cool, right?
Yeah, before it was cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Otherwise, everything that they've announced is all things related to Disney Plus. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, WandaVision, and the big thing I guess is What If. What If is a comic book series that was kind of what if things happened in the Marvel series that didn't actually happen in the current universe. So it's stuff that they could kind of play with, like what if Hulk or Wolverine killed the Hulk or things like that. And it's going to be animated, so that's going to be
cool.
interesting. We also had a trailer for Star Trek Picard.
Yeah, which supposedly Caitlin is supposed to have known all about. Jean-Luc Picard. That's how you say his name, right?
Jean-Luc, yes.
Oh, it's not the French way.
Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc.
I was trying to say it the Français way.
What is the French way?
Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc.
Picard.
Jean-Luc.
Yeah.
Picard.
Jean-Luc Picard. That's
How many
Patrick Stewart's character
Oh, yeah.
on the Star Trek franchise. This newest one is going to be called Star Trek Picard, and in the trailer we see Patrick Stewart still looking snatched as ever. Like, right? He's like so old, but he looks
He's
good.
so old, he does.
Like, no offense to Ian
that guy.
McKellen, but like when you look at Ian McKellen, like you could see
You could tell
Gandalf
age.
is like, but you look at Patrick Stewart, you're like,
He's still got it.
Sir Pat
still
Stu?
got it.
Yeah.
Still
Sir Pat
got
Stu.
it. So
Professor!
yeah, they're at the like Picard like ancestral home,
Right.
right? And so you see that you
The
see
wine
Issa
vineyards.
Briones, who's a famous
Damn.
daughter of a famous
John
John
Briones, who's
Right.
a Broadway star, right?
Right.
I think I
Saigon.
sat next to Issa Briones during an East West Players audition.
Oh, yeah.
Because I auditioned for Next to Normal.
Oh, she's very
Yeah.
she's
Was
she in
very
that?
well known.
She got the role and I did not.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
in Next to Normal
Yeah.
at East West Players, and recently she did the tour of Hamilton.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
right. So now she's
Following
moving
that.
on up. She's like, actually playing a pretty big role. She's playing a woman
The
named
role.
Dodge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick Stewart. But, you know, aside from still got it, Patrick Stewart, she's playing a young woman whose life gets turned upside down, and she goes to Picard for answers.
Right.
So
she
it
seems
sounds
like
pretty
a-
central, yeah.
Yeah, she seems like a badass. Like she's doing a
Right.
lot of fight scenes.
She's
and
Filipino, right?
Yeah.
she's half Filipino
Filipino.
on her dad's side.
That's what it was. I'm like, she doesn't even look Asian. Is she Filipino? She looks like something else, but she's mixed, right?
She's
So
mixed, yeah.
yeah. You know how some people, as they get older, they look more and more mixed? I feel like she got older and looked like more and more white.
I was like, that hasn't happened to me. I just
Are you mixed?
No, I'm
You're
not.
black, right?
Oh my god.
Mixed with black.
He'll find out when he gets older.
according to
Okay, so unfortunately, someone's going to have to help me out with this Top Gun
Pical.
2 trailer. Did anybody watch those?
I did. I watched the Top
Tell
Gun
me, what
trailer.
did you think of it?
It
Everyone's
looks fun.
talking about it.
It does. We didn't see any Iceman in there.
No.
No Viper either. And I'm kind of wondering what the actual story is going to be
Right,
about.
same.
Because like,
But when was the first one coming? When did that? That was like in the 80s,
That
right?
was in the 80s. Yeah. 84. 24 years ago.
84
So,
years. It's been
85.
84 years.
1985.
The number.
It's been back when Tom Cruise was Dr. Stone.
Wait,
But-
is Top Gun? Oh no, am I mixing this up with Risky Business? What's the one where he dances in his
It's
base?
risky business.
So Top Gun is the one where he's like a pilot,
He's a
right?
pilot.
He's a pilot. That's right. Okay,
go.
and he's
Right,
hot.
Maverick.
He's like
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good looking in this
Yeah,
one.
Tom
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise
Maverick.
was hot.
Such a hottie,
guy.
yeah.
86. Him and Val Kilmer were in. Yeah.
Oh, Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So are they back?
I didn't see any Val Kilmer in this trailer. I
But
don't know
Tom
if you know.
Cruise.
Tom
I'm pretty
Cruise is
sure
definitely back.
he's gonna make an appearance.
You think so?
He's got to, yeah.
I have a feeling. Goose's son is gonna be in it.
Oh,
Who?
wow.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
Whose son?
Goose is a character from Top Gun 1.
Careful.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Did you guys like Top Gun? Is that
As
it?
growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up, yeah.
It was like a.
I haven't seen it since
yeah.
then.
I don't know if it holds
it's
up.
been
I remember.
24
I remember
It's been
it being
24 years.
Yeah.
You're showing your age, Arnold.
Oh God. Well,
No, it's.
I'm an old ass
It was
motherfucker.
a cool movie. It was like because there was that rash of like
Wait, no,
dogfighting
it's been
movies.
34
And the
years.
music.
24
Oh, God,
years
yeah.
was in the 90s, so it's been 34 years.
Jeebus,
Oh, my
Jeebus.
gosh.
Okay, so it's been 86. No,
F-14
it's been 30
Tomcat, yeah.
It's been 33 years.
You remember that?
33
I had a
years, yeah.
F-14 Tomcat and like an F-15 Eagle poster on
Like-
my wall.
oh.
just
Oh
because
my
of like
gosh.
Top
Like
Gun.
taking off.
Yeah. I thought it was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be a fighter pilot.
Well,
when
let's
they grew
add
up.
that one to our list so
Yeah.
me and Jen can hop
Top
on
Gun.
board. No pun intended. Okay.
we can watch that.
Miles Teller plays Goose's son.
Right.
Manny Jacinto's in it.
Hey.
Manny Jacinto. I just saw him the other day.
So in the trailer, they didn't show any of like Manny Jacinto. Like John Hamm's in it. Ed
John
Harris is in
Hamm?
it.
None of these people showed up in the trailer.
John
Is there
Hamm
Easter eggs?
Was he
briefly,
in it a little
and
bit,
then but not
No
Manny
Manny?
Jacinto.
Right.
So that makes me start to think that they're the enemy.
Oh.
So they're
See,
they're
that's-
going to play like
don't wanna-
Chinese
Oh
pilots
God! Please.
instead of
no.
Russian.
You think?
I'm thinking because they didn't show any of them in the trailer,
Because that
and they weren't even in like. There's one scene where he's playing the piano, and there's a bunch
Right.
of other pilots, and I didn't see any Asians.
Do we know who else is in it?
Oh.
I think
That's
there's
a
some
hard
other
call, man.
Asian.
Oh,
the other Asian-
I don't even know if it's going to be China because this won't do well in Chinese box
Yeah,
office.
exactly.
Right. It's going to be the North Koreans or something.
Oh, maybe North Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manny
Yeah.
Jacinto could be Korean. He looks,
Yeah, kind
he
of,
looks
'cause it's
Korean
kind of
enough.
a little
Yeah.
Korean. But yeah, like Arnold said, I'm not sure what the story is going to be about. It's just like a bunch of cool footage of him like flying off, flight decks and stuff. So we'll see what the story is actually.
They're just playing
going
off
to
the
be.
nostalgia factor again, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. I know you two saw the trailer, so because
Yes.
I walked in on you guys watching the trailer together.
That's right. I know.
I was like, what are you guys
walked in on
doing?
you
What are you guys
guys.
doing?
I cheated on you, Caitlin.
They were snow piercing
Snow piercing.
with
together.
Jennifer
Yeah,
Connelly.
I was like, what's going on?
Balls deep in snow piercing.
God.
Did you guys watch the film?
I watched the film.
I did
same.
not. I wanted
I heard
to
it was
see
On
excellent.
Netflix.
It's great.
I heard it's
Mixed
excellent.
things
Yeah.
about it. Some-
Really?
It's really good. I could see how people might not like it.
I heard it
It's-
was like only good things from it. Like
I could see it's like it's very deliberately paced.
Right.
I will say
so slow.
it's slow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's. I wouldn't say it's slow, but it's very.
It was comfortable for me.
Yeah. It's not
It's comfy, a comfy pace.
but it's
Comfy Arnold
basically
pace.
it's Hunger Games in a train.
In a confined space.
nice.
Hungry. Yeah.
So-
Okay.
Hunger
That sounds
train
great.
games.
Right, Hunger Train Games. Minus
Hunger Games.
minus the Hunger Games itself, but it's all the kind of social striations. You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, like all the classes of the world are like compacted
Yeah.
into this train.
Right.
And they're like going somewhere and no one knows
Exactly.
where.
It's
cool.
because like the
In an
rest of the
effort to-
world. Yeah.
To like take care of like global warming or something. We
Right. Yeah.
inadvertently,
Dude, that
like,
premise
created another
is
ice
orgasmic.
age.
Right.
I think
So
also
all the
too,
surviving humans are
it
forced
basically-
to take
yeah,
the
it's,
train.
it's the surviving
Yeah.
human race.
Right.
Nice.
All on the train,
Oh
and
my
they're going
gosh.
on this journey, and it's basically like
Around the world, pretty much.
I want to
it's
see
like
it.
super cold
Continuously.
outside,
Right.
where like
And they
literally
just
if you
keep
get
on running
exposed,
Yeah.
all this track
if you get
over and
exposed to
Dude,
the air,
this sounds like
you
a
literally freeze.
play, like an avant-garde play,
Yeah.
like some crazy fucking post-apocalyptic premise, right?
Right.
You look
It's
disturbed.
No.
You're like, yeah,
Except it is, and it's
Yeah.
Based on, like,
Snowpiercer.
yeah, and it's gonna
It's
happen
based
to
on
us
a French
soon.
book.
A French graphic novel or something?
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a graphic novel?
interesting.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or something that, or a book. Yeah.
But basically, it's all the poor people towards the back of the train. and
Yeah.
then, like,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the,
Oh,
you know,
gosh.
The closer it gets to the engine, that's like people get richer and richer.
Right.
So-
Actually, that reminds me a lot of High Rise. Is
Oh, is
anyone
another thing?
familiar
Oh,
with
is that
High
the
Rise?
same?
I've heard of
that
it.
mu-
J.G.
okay.
Ballard's novel High Rise that was turned into a movie with Tom Hiddleston. I haven't
No.
seen the movie yet, but essentially, like High Rise
So
is
it's a
also
vertical
set.
version of.
Vertical version. It's set in a
Snowpiercer.
building,
Got it.
and all the lower class people are on the bottom.
Oh,
and the
yeah,
higher
yeah,
class
yeah, I've heard
people
of
are
this.
at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
top.
yeah.
And then there's this Lord of the Flies thing that happens, and there's the revolt, and there's internal workings. Kind
Oh,
of like
shit.
similar
Oh, yeah.
thing. Yeah,
But this one's on a train,
very very
Right,
similar.
right.
like snakes.
Yeah.
This is
What
basically the
is
back
it,
of the train are all the lower class,
Right.
Yeah.
when the front of the train is like the higher class.
Right.
Guys, it's past 10 o'clock.
Cool.
Oh,
So,
shut up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Do your
lots of-
job for you.
Lots of cool stuff
I'm sitting
happening
here.
at SDCC this past week. So I would keep an eye on all this stuff. As soon as we get more news about all this stuff, we will probably like cover it again. Thank you everybody for joining us on our 19th episode.
Wow.
19th episode. I want to say give a shout out to our sponsors, Jimmy John's. Freaky Fast makes it freaky fresh. Again, go into the Koreatown location, mention our name, and get a discount. Shouts out to PWC. Thank you for providing the space for our stream. Hit us up next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. At twitch.tv/Pangeekery. Like, subscribe. Hit us up on all the socials at Pangeekery. Thank you to the cast, to our special guest host, Arnold Dasinga.
Didn't really do
And to the
anything,
rest of
but
the
No,
crew.
you went
No.
deep. You went deep with us.
Yeah.
How
I went
deep,
balls
Caitlin?
Hella balls
Is
deepery.
your love? Yeah.
Balls
and
deepery.
we will see you next week. Yay!
Yay!
Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
That
bye,
was
bye, bye, bye.
fun.
Pangeekery Podcast, covering all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. Visit us online at www.pangeekery.com.